Welcome to Newcastle. I'm just in the final stages of setting a couple of things up, so just bear with us a minute, folks. Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're all keeping well. As you'll tell from Newcastle, or the background here, looks like summer has taken a bit of time out, 1st of June and all that. Quick look see through the chats. Great to see so many people here already. Embarrassing when I'm beaten here. I'm joined by Eddie, who's stage side, if you will.
Good afternoon.
Say hi, Eddie.
Good afternoon, everyone.
So that's the team at the airport. Looking into the chats, Ken Alloway, one of our moderator team. Here already, Ken. Impressive. Deborah Speller. No flies on Deborah either. So welcome to both of you. Political Bias, another one who's quick out the blocks. So PB, great that you can join us, mate. Zooming on down, Alibi 58. Another member of our all-star mod team. Alibi, hope all is good with you, mate. Vislandia, welcome back. How you keeping? Simon Kirby. No football talk on today's show, Simon. You don't want to see a nearly 58-year-old bloke cry. Or maybe she do. Les Donaldson. Hey up, mate. How goes it? And I think I'm nearly caught up, am I? Digit Jumbo, our man in Dusseldorf. How you doing, mate? Hope all is good with you. Yep, you and I both ready for some plane spotting. I think the next departure from here, you might be able to see it in the background, I'll pull the camera around in a minute, is the Chewy departure to Larnaca. So, should be some action imminent. Stephen Marchant, good afternoon, mate. Welcome back to the show. Jonathan Martin, a welcome back also. Watching from Gran Canaria. Now that's doing it in style. I mean, seriously, I wasn't going to bother with a coat today, and Eddie chose not to bother with a coat, and I think privately wishes he had come with one. Kulwinder Singh Virk, good afternoon to you, Kulwinder, or Kulwinder. Hope all is good with you. Don't think I've said hi to you before, so in reverse order really. I'm Mark, your host for this afternoon, and as I mentioned a little while ago, Eddie, my son, is assisting in the margins. Wayne Tennant, good afternoon, from Bishop Auckland, on Flight Radar Pathfinder. Bishop Auckland, is that where they tend to get into the hold sometimes for here? Yes, it is, isn't it? I always conflate that with Bishop Stortford, which is all about me, really. Yes, it is a bit gusty. An Alibi, I've just spotted the echo comment. You've seen that, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm just moving my position slightly. We're trying out double mics today, so if you do hear an echo in the chat, just let us know and we'll just adjust our positions and see how that goes.
We haven't quite got the synchronization how we want it, so there is still that little bit of an echo. So yeah, thanks Alibi for that. I was down here this morning at 6:30 trying a couple other bits and pieces, and we found that the encoder, the delay on the encoder wasn't quite enough. I'm still picking a bit of an echo up, mate.
I'll try a different.
We might need to switch that one off, I don't know.
Maybe I'll try a different position.
The good news is Eddie's mic is good for 200 metres. Don't go any further.
I'm off into the wilderness now, surrounded by bushes, and yeah, it's all good.
Okay, Stoffel Bell, good afternoon to you. Simon's going to try not to mention the football. I don't think that sounds like you're trying hard enough. Sam Thurlaway confirms Jet 2 next in from Ibiza. We'll be vigilant for that. Reverse ops today, so as always, they're going to come over the hedge pretty fast at us. So heads up is always appreciated. Jacques Vandenberg, hello my friend in South Africa. Polo Kwane, I've met you before many times on the show. Jacques, thanks for joining us. Simon's got the echo. Yeah, I'm just wondering if the comments, let's just scroll to the bottom. Am I the only one that's echoing?
It probably will get better once your...
I've lost your sound there.
It'll probably get better once your camera side, I'd imagine, so you're not talking in my direction.
No, it's the echo. We'll see.
Yeah, because...
Yeah. I see what you mean. Doris Petsus, good afternoon. Right, I think I'm caught. Oh, Wayne's off to Tenerife on Tuesday with Jet 2. Nice move, my friend. Right, so the echo, just bear with us. If it's still there, let us know. Push come to shove, we'll shut the other mic down. It's not quite where we want it yet, but we thought we'd have a bit of a tinker. Ken says,
they've got one coming in.
Telescope.
And there goes.
There you have it.
Our Jet 2 737 from Ibiza. A bit earlier than it had said on flight radar. I was expecting a 3:15 arrival, but I guess it's gained 5 minutes on its approach. Bit of a wind kickback there we're receiving here on our plane spotter vantage point.
I have to say, folks, it's a perfect day for the smell of aviation fuel. You get the full distance, really. It's been a while since I've had a day like that.
Just seeing EDC, Metalman and Planes. Hey everybody, new subscriber here, mate. Well, thank you very much for joining us here on the channel. I hope you enjoyed the stream and the experience. Also, we've got a super chat with €3 coming in from Doris Petsus. Thank you so much, Doris, for your generosity. That is very, very touching. Thank you very much.
Now, I would say I'd echo that, but then it would sound like I'm being a little bit droll. So I'm just going to say, Doris, thanks from me as well, mate. Very kind of you, very generous.
Yeah, Stephen, just seeing the comment, a bit wobbly, that landing. Well, yeah, I don't know whether it was the wind kick up from just a bit of the wind naturally, or whether it was coming in a bit hot. I don't know, but every landing's a good landing.
It's an interesting one. Wind-wise, it's not particularly windy. It's a north-northeasterly, 12 mile an hour with gusts of up to 18. Just feel a little bit gustier than that. I think I'll pull away from this one because I can see the Chewy 737 to Larnaca starting to come our way. There we go.
Change position slightly because Simon Kirby, I feel, might be poking fun at
I can't hear your output at all.
Interesting.
I could then.
You can now.
Yeah. You might need to hold it just that bit closer while we set it up. Always playing with their new toys.
New tech.
Not on that axle.
Try a different thing.
So yeah, we're kind of finding out the hard way. So pretty overcast.
There goes our Boeing 737 MAX 8. In that beautiful Chewy livery that always gives off holiday vibes as it jets into the sky towards Larnaca. Registration GTUMB.
Yeah, feeling a bit of gust. I'll trim the camera to the windsock in a jiffy, folks, but it's hardly straining at its moorings. There we go, almost pointing straight at us. We might as well actually track the camera to the incoming Ibiza flight.
Really appreciate any feedback on the sound.
It's definitely still crackly, Eddie, but I think that might be more about setting your mic up with a bit more precision.
Okay.
You can't do anything more than that.
The arrival relatively soon, so we'll have to be on our toes. I'll go on flight radar and have a little peep.
I'm kind of curious about the crackle. I didn't have any crackle this morning.
It is interesting. I don't know whether perhaps with the metros going by, but
We've got the sound's dropped again.
sound has dropped. Testing. Jet 2.
Tabbing Khan, good afternoon, Tabbing. Simon says it sounds like I'm sitting in a box. If only I was. The one I'm thinking of would be an executive box. I think the thing is, as we've started to tinker about with sound and hopefully get better co-commentary sound quality, it's thrown a couple of curveballs. This morning, apart from not managing to synchronise the sound to our satisfaction, close but no cigar, so we've just got a little bit more to do with that. But in terms of clarity of the second mic, it was absolutely spot on. But I think that's the nature of outside broadcast, isn't it? Understanding what might have altered slightly.
Well, it is in our pursuit of excellence, isn't it? See and find different ways to improve the experience for our audience. So this is one of our little upgrades that we're doing on the route.
I've just moved the position of the receiver a little bit, see if that helps.
Just picked up on an interesting comment from EDC Metalman and Planes. He's in Nadi, Fiji, where it's currently 24 degrees at 2:15 in the morning. Feeling hot, hot, hot.
That is hot, hot, hot. It's too hot for Mark. Is it too hot for Eddie?
Well, some hot times when I was living in Madrid a few years back, but I think 24 degrees at night, oof, definitely too hot.
Simon Kirby did say he couldn't guarantee not to mention football. He thinks we'll get a cheap rate executive box down at the King Power.
We'll be back, Simon. We'll be back.
I'm afraid they'd have to throw travel in as well. Yeah, definitely want travel. Sam Thurlaway confirms a Jet 2 arriving from Malta. Let's see if I can get a little bit closer to it. Can't believe it, or perhaps folks can believe it, 1st of June, and it feels like we've regressed into March. I mean, 12 degrees is not March, I suppose. But it's chilly.
So what I believe we're looking at right now is a Jet 2 Boeing 737 just pushing back before its departure to Antalya, which actually I think I saw someone in the chat saying they've been there in October, so you know, I've never been. Don't know if you've got any details on what it's like as a destination. I think I'm well known when I'm on the chat. I do like a bit of travel guide information. If it's Spain, I can give a bit of an insight into that one, but never been to Antalya, so I'd love to see any feedback in the chat what that's like.
And trust me, folks, Eddie's always looking for an excuse to go somewhere.
Definitely.
Think of it, a nailed-on sunshine would go a long way, wouldn't it?
Roy Cropper's shopping bag comments, has anything interesting actually happened? Well, I suppose Roy Cropper's shopping bag, that depends what you class as interesting. We've had an excellent landing from a Jet 2 Boeing 737 and a TUI departure so far. If that suits you, if that's what you enjoy, well, keep tuned, because we've got another Jet 2 on its way out, and we've got another Jet 2 coming in, and lots more aviation due to take place here in the next couple of hours.
And I was going to say, being joined by Roy Cropper's shopping bag, I think that's an interesting moment in time.
Well, definitely a key moment for the channel. I remember, see, I will bring it back to football a little bit. I think Roy Cropper used to, well, Roy Cropper's not his real name, I don't think, but Roy Cropper used to, the actor, used to take part in the end of season fun run that used to happen around Filbert Street, and potentially once we moved to what was then known as the Walkers Stadium. So definitely, thanks for joining us, Roy. Anyway.
Oh, Maggie Lee, good afternoon, Maggie. With a fandabi-nosy array of emojis. I think they're a bit too complicated for me, Maggie, but it's nice to see you back with us. Oh dear. So our Malta 737 is an 800, 5-year-old, registered Golf Juliet Zulu Bravo Charlie. Thank you, Stoffel. I'm just going back to the Roy Cropper's shopping bag. It's the first time I've met you, Roy. I'm Mark, in case you've not caught the intro. Eddie's the co-commentator. Yeah, that is a good handle. Going back to EDC Metal Man, you just can't sleep in those high temperatures, can you?
No, it's too hot to handle that. 22 degrees. What I mean, you'd say I always find air conditioning, that's a difficult one in hot places as well, because often you would set it as you go to sleep and you'll feel comfortable, but then you end up waking up at about 2 or 3 in the morning freezing. So I don't even think air conditioning particularly helps in a situation like that.
And that's if air conditioning is an option.
Exactly that.
So I'll just move the camera slightly just to give you a partial sight of the FedEx 737. I was hoping to catch that this morning, but it came down earlier than I did. Unfortunately. Looks like a bit of boarding activity in the foreground. Now, I've not seen the point of entry, but I've seen Ewan's in the chat. Good afternoon, Ewan. EDC's got the aircon on, but it's no good.
Well, yeah, just don't know what to do with that. AC on 14 degrees C and it's useless. Well,
fair, I'll say.
Do you know what? You have to count your blessings though. At least he's joined the channel, he's subscribed, and he's going to be having some good times watching a bit of aviation with us. So there's a silver lining in everything.
Indeed. And we have nobility in the house. Afternoon, Melody R. Lady Robertstadt. How you doing? Good afternoon, Carl Shield. Question being, Carl Shield, have you got any summertime in Dublin? I can see a Chewy turned over on the far side.
Where's that Chewy going to, is the question.
Gran Canaria.
Las Palmas International Airport.
Stoffel says there's a Qatar Airways Dreamliner, Edinburgh to Doha. We might see no chance here. Cloud cover is total. So unless they're going to come over at about 10,000 feet or something like, I think we're probably snookered. Carl Shield, you can't possibly want rain, man. Unless you've got an allotment that you don't fancy watering.
Hello Miles, saying hello from a beach in Prestatyn. Good afternoon and thank you for joining us today.
Miles, what you got on the beach in Prestatyn? Do you need sun cream and a hat? Or are you like I am at the minute, in a coat?
And good question from Ewan, is FedEx starting daily flights or something? Well, this has been a matter of talking point in our AvGeek chats recently, because we've been sort of watching this FedEx coming in and out. I think it's Cologne Airport that it's been coming to and from Newcastle last few days. It's usually an ASL, isn't it? The freight aircraft that operates that slot, it would appear.
Usually from Edinburgh. Usually a 602 or something like that.
Last couple of days we've noticed this FedEx Boeing 737 that seems to be coming in and out of Newcastle. Is it daily? We couldn't possibly tell you, but so far this week it has been.
Just going further back to Roy Cropper's shopping bag. How often do we do these from Newcastle? These streams once, possibly twice a week. We kind of mix it up with other locations such as Edinburgh. The other weekend we were at Amsterdam and Dusseldorf, but home base is Newcastle. So you can probably say one in the week and probably one at the weekend, unless we're going somewhere different.
Good afternoon, Bez54. Thank you for joining us today on the stream, getting some work done in the background as well. Well, that's good stuff. You've got to get the work done, and a bit of aviation is only going to make that work easier to do.
Afternoon, Bez. How goes it? And you're right, Alan T. We do need rain to live. I reckon I need a bit of sunshine though at the minute. Our Gran Canaria Chewy 737 is on the move. I'm not going to go for the Jaws music today. Don't want a copyright strike, assuming that anyone could actually recognise me hitting the right notes.
Yeah, I think the software wouldn't necessarily recognise what you're singing.
Remind me why I said it was a good idea for you to join me today.
Bit of to and fro. Sam Thurlaway with the question, is there any Eurofighter jets coming into Newcastle Airport today? I would say unlikely.
If you know something else, Sam, tell me and I'll send for extra batteries. If you were to say if we had definite knowledge they were going to be in at 7, we'll get some juice from somewhere. I think just looking at Les Donaldson's comment, Edinburgh is looking pretty good in terms of heavy action. United running 4 routes, Delta at least 3.
It's a fiesta of 757s at Edinburgh at the moment, isn't it?
Well, it's a good amount, but the Dreamliner account's ticking up with Air Canada, WestJet, and of course Qatar Airways. And of course it's lovely there.
So on screen at the moment you've obviously got the Chewy 737. and in 1 minute's time we're expecting the Jet 2 737 to touch down fresh from Malta.
Thanks, Eddie.
Aircraft registration on that Jet 2 is a GJZBC. And I would imagine this Chewy is going to wait until the arrival of that Jet 2 before it makes its way onto the runway. Quick nod to cameraman Mark, because we're probably expecting that Jet 2 to arrive before.
I was just looking about Miles's comment about being hot enough for an ice cream. It sounds just the job. With all the messing around I got in last Sunday, I missed the chat about the ice cream, didn't I? That those that were on time in the chat, unlike yours truly, were having a good old chat about.
Nice shout from Wayne saying he can't wait till the Jet 2 Airbus A321neo operates from Newcastle. Me neither, because, you know, Jet 2, I think it's well known they operate or have operated largely in the past Boeing 737s, so their move to Airbus as a nav geek is quite interesting and one which I will look forward to see.
Just got the camera teed up ready, folks, in case you wonder why I'm pointing it at the sky.
Absolute beauty.
Now paves the way for the Chewy departure to Gran Canaria.
A real waft of aviation fuel hitting us now from our vantage point.
Aviation Adam, good afternoon to you, my friend. Hope you are keeping well.
Just going to jump on that comment from Les Donaldson. That came in fast, the Jet 2. Well, they do shoot over, I think it's the vantage point. It does really add a bit of drama to it, the way they shoot over the hedge line and make the touchdown on the runway.
It keeps you guessing until the last. You know roughly where they're going to appear.
How I wish I was on that aircraft. Las Palmas sunshine waiting for all the passengers on board.
I'll tell you what, political bias, you'd love standing here right now.
Chewy blue soaring into the overcast Newcastle sky, as we now look at the white Jet 2, which will be departing to Tenerife following the Chewy towards the Canary Islands.
Cabin Khan asks about twice daily Emirates flights from Newcastle. No news on that at all, Cabin. I don't know if anybody else in the chat has anything on that. Yeah, I'm going to boost my sound a little bit, Alibi. Cheers, mate.
While that's going on, a bit of aircraft information on this Jet 2 we're watching right now. Flew in, should I say, from Alicante earlier on today, and it's heading on out to Tenerife, as I've already said. Aircraft registration GJZHM. Sorry, Carl, I'm just catching up here. You didn't read my point about United. You had some intel that they're reducing flight numbers out of Edinburgh and increasing from Dublin. I hadn't come across that myself. If you got any more information about that, please feel free to put it into the chat.
Sound check, doubling as a hello. ERB, good afternoon to you. Alibi, does that sound a bit better?
Just seeing Aviation Adam is going to be at the airport at 4 in the morning on Saturday for the 7:20 departure to Ibiza. You'll have to let us know how that goes, Adam, because I think I'm on exactly that flight in a few months' time, actually. The early morning Saturday. Is it with Chewy? If it's with Chewy, I'll be on that flight in a few months, so a flight review would be much appreciated. Correction from Ken, the Jet 2 is to Antalya, not Tenerife, and I've been given a telescope from Ken.
It's in the genes.
Well, I'll accept it, but I'll have to live with that disappointment.
Accuracy, very important.
Don't know where I got Tenerife from on that one.
Thanks, Simon Kirby, for seeing the comments. Bit more forward, that might be where I'm pointing my head at the minute. I'll see about boosting it when this goes. Not quite sure why the sound's playing up on the main mic, unless it's a sign the battery's on the way down, because it's exactly the usual settings.
Just going to correct what I said earlier as well. This is the Antalya flight, as Ken says, so the aircraft registration for those who are interested in that kind of thing is GDRTO.
I think you could almost set that to music.
GTRO. Yes.
Ah, there you go.
Put a little bit of a dance music backing track on it. We could have our first hit on our hands.
Probably not.
Hello ERB, it said thank you for your kind comment saying nice stream Eddie and friend. Well, in this context, to be honest, Eddie's more of the friend. Mark, the cameraman, is the main man when it comes to the stream. I'm just more of a bit part player, more of a prawn sandwich plane spotter when it comes to getting out in the elements. Mark's your hardcore all weathers av geek, and I like to accompany him from when I get a chance to.
A little bit hazy at the back end of the track. Can't really do much for that.
Love that fun fact from Aviation Adam. This is what I love about the chat. Apparently registration, or aircraft registration GDRTO is one of the only ones, apart from the brand new 737-8 configurations Jet 2 has, that has Boeing's short field performance pack on board. Love that. Love the detail. So let's have a quick dip into flight radar, see what we've got coming up. So it looks like our next arrival will be a British Airways flight number BA1334 A319 coming from, you guessed it, London Heathrow. And the question that's always in my mind is, where has this aircraft been today? I always love having a little look and seeing. Nav geek I am. It's been already to Geneva and Belfast earlier in the day. This aircraft we were expecting from London Heathrow.
Just spotted Ken's comment in the chat about being down at Prestwick. Anything interesting in, Ken? And good afternoon to Tony McCall. How goes it, buddy? Carl Shield came back from Chicago with United. What kind of review would you give those, Carl Shield? Was it a good flight? That's me clapping for warmth.
I think it's a good question, Roy Cropper's shopping bag, as to the information that where Carl got it from, but please try and keep it friendly. I mean, I'm sure you meant it in a friendly way, but when you type up messages, there's always a risk that it can be interpreted in a less friendly manner. So yes, it would be interesting, Carl, to know where you got the intel on United's change of plans regarding operations at Edinburgh. That would be interesting, I think, for certainly Roy Cropper's shopping bag, but also myself. We'd like to know a little bit more about that. Carl's just saying, bad flight.
Carl said he had a bad flight.
Yeah, bad flight.
Interesting. Bad how?
Right, so what we've got taxiing out to the runway, Jet 2, Boeing 737. I'm going to have a little dip into the flight radar.
Oh, Ken's had a special spot down at Prestwick. The Grumman Greyhound C2A. Nice one. Any pics, Ken?
So this Jet 2 is off to the...
Hang on. Drum roll. It's off to...
Lanzarote. I did obviously in the Spanish pronunciation there, Lanzarote with the English intonation. So we'll be pursuing that TUI 737 across the Atlantic towards the Canary Islands. Never been to Lanzarote. Have you, Mark?
No.
There we go.
I took a moment to think about it. All of my 58 years. And yes, I just want to tuck in behind Ken and Alibi and Eddie, actually. Good vibes only on the channel. I know that's what will be intended, but it's always a case of, yeah, good vibrations make for a better chill down.
Yeah, it's just, you know, we know everyone's got good intentions, but sometimes you've got to imagine that in the text form, we don't have the intonation. We're in the lucky position because we're mic'd up, we can add intonation to stuff.
Simon Kirby is trying to induce you into doing a Manuel impersonation.
Can't do that, Simon.
Tried but failed.
Sorry about that.
Oh dear.
Si quieres puedo hablar en español. If you want, I can speak in Spanish. But there will be no Manuel impersonations on channel today.
Ooh, I can see another Jet 2 pushing back. Looks like we are into that Jet 2 frenzy part of the afternoon.
the noise that they're kicking up, these pushbacks, are a pleasure to my ears. I'm really enjoying, you know, other people have joined us on previous streams where I've made an outing. I love the noise.
I've just spotted David Jordan's entry into the chat, so good afternoon, David. Mark talking at the minute, joined trackside by my son Eddie, who's co-commenting on the stream. Quick, gentle shout out really to say to folks, if you like what you see, please do hit the like button and consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed. Neither cost you anything and help us massively with YouTube. In that dark vault that is otherwise known as the YouTube algorithm.
Just joining in on a bit of the football banter while we wait for, I think we're probably waiting for this British Airways, so you probably want to be on your toes, Mark, because we're about ready for the Airbus A319 arrival. But on the football chat there of Simon Kirby, you know, I'm very impressed with Nottingham Forest at the moment, actually, as much as it's hard to say as a Leicester City fan. So I won't be surprised if they manage to consolidate their position in the Premier League. I like the fight that I see in their players when I see them in any games that I've been watching. Stephen Marchin, Tenerife is my favourite place on earth as well. I think if I won the lottery, I'd probably have a house here in the northeast of England, live it here, but also a house in Tenerife.
I've just moved the camera around to this Jet 2 that is pushing back before it sets out for Dalaman.
Yeah, I think we're almost certainly waiting for the arrival of the British Airways A319 from LHR London Heathrow.
It's just approaching Callerton Lane End, so I'll move the camera around in a jiffy.
Would you like to hear a fact about the Airbus A319, Mark?
Go for it.
Well, I was reading earlier today that the Airbus A319 is in fact 12 feet and 3 inches in length. I'm going to mix my measurements here, but 3.73 metres shorter than the Airbus A320. There you go. Impressed?
Right, bring the camera around. Halfway house.
The aviation fuel kick-up is intense at the moment, with a number of aircraft on the apron jostling for permission.
That much blossom out behind me. I can't even see through the trees anymore. Right, here we go, folks. Just shows you I've brought the camera round thinking I wouldn't be loitering in this position very long, and now it's almost akin to a stress position. Here we go.
Something very stylish about a British Airways livery.
Yeah, I wouldn't be in a rush to change that. I think they learned a tough lesson some years ago, didn't they, on livery changes?
Jet2 departure in its Jet2 holidays livery on way to Lanzarote. Airport code. I like this airport code. ACE. Always make her a pet detective. Don't know why. But there you go.
Oh, that smells divine. I'm sometimes surprised that some of the more, well, the bigger, more commercially astute aviation channels don't have their own version of aviation joysticks. You can sit there at home and burn joysticks and enjoy the action.
Joysticks? Question mark. What is a joystick?
Well, aren't they those sticks that you set fire to?
To be fair, I'm not even sure what the correct name is. Like an incense. They might be called a joystick, I don't know.
Quit me in the chat. I'm sure there used to be something called joysticks that you burnt to give fragrance off.
Just to give you all, I mean, we don't have the sort of behind the scenes camera set up yet, at least, but I'm just gazing over towards Mark's direction with a slightly bemused look. Equally, you know, I'll happily accept it if joystick is the terminology. I guess I didn't know Mark had that facet to his knowledge.
Okay, I'm just looking into the chat. Alibi, thank you, my friend. And this looks like it must be going to Tenerife then. On the basis somebody's going to Tenerife.
If only it was me.
Or better yet, me.
We could both go. Will I enjoy the increase in engine thrust?
Metro train rumbling away in the background for anybody that's new to Newcastle.
I was just about to comment, it's absolutely awesome when you get that impact from the loud engine noise, and then there's that moment of silence that follows a takeoff roll, and it just really, really brings me joy. Let's put it that way.
That's Christmas boxed off then. Trip to the airport.
Oh, any time. Is there a bacon sandwich thrown in? Welcome to today's stream to Shoria's Orbit as well. Thank you for your kind feedback. Hope you enjoyed the stream.
Hi Shoria, Mark speaking. That was Eddie. Good afternoon. Hope you're doing well.
Vislandia says joysticks are the same as incense sticks. So Mark has really shown off his knowledge there to Eddie, and Eddie is amazed.
Well, I was thinking more likely to be age. It's probably a term that's not used anymore. When Eddie looked at me with a blank face, I thought, what have I just said? Some sticks you set fire to.
I mean, yeah, if they did do it, well, do you know what would be even sort of better? Like, sort of did an aviation kind of scratch and sniff pack.
Well, here's a question for you, Eddie.
Yeah.
In case someone answers it from the chat first. Melody R would like to know, what is the population of Newcastle? Do we have an estimation?
I could come up with a number, but I'd just be taking a guess. To be honest, I'm not sure. I can have a little look in Google. Other search engines are available. Although I think YouTube is part of the Google package, so I suppose that's not an issue.
It's an interesting question. I'm not even sure where to stick my pin in.
We could take a guess between us, and someone in the chat could put us right. I'm going to throw down, well, 50,000 fits in St James's Park, so we'll work up from that. Newcastle, as in the metropolitan area of Newcastle. UK is 70 million. I'm going to say 2 million.
Well, I'm going to go for the undercut.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 1.5 million.
So there you go. You have the chance to prove either myself, Eddie, or Mark correct. What is the population of Newcastle? Is it closer to 1.5 million or closer to 2 million?
Listen, I'm feeling vindicated by Islandia's confirmation that joss sticks are a thing.
Your run is going to run out at some point in today's stream, Mark.
So, Wayne Tennant asked the question about runway 7. David Jordan hits the nail straight on the head. Wind direction. So we're looking at a north-northwesterly at the minute. Easterly, sorry, north-northeasterly. And that's essentially why we're running 07. If it was a westerly wind, we'd be at 25, the opposite end. Animan travels. Oh. Amiman travels. Sorry, glasses slipping off my nose. Amiman, how you doing? DB Bassman, welcome back to the show. Similar with Ollie MB, good day to you, sir. Amiman, just seen your very complimentary comment. Thank you so much, sir. Very, very kind of you to say so. I suppose while I'm thinking about shows, I ought to quickly plug the next action from Plain Sailing Aviation. So Saturday is the next scheduled show, and that will be an early bird show, 6 o'clock in the morning. Plenty of departures from here through till around 9 o'clock. And for those of you who like lots of planes or like to see their planes a bit later in the morning, obviously with being a global community, it's always time somewhere for planes. We are going to be going elsewhere for the afternoon. I think we're calling it Destination Unknown at the moment.
I really want to sing that one. See, that's more my era of music, so he's tempted me.
Go on.
I can't sing it.
God,
can I?
Public demand.
I don't know. We don't want to have any copyright strike. I think I could sing it very well. Destination Unknown. I'll just keep saying it. Maybe people at home will start to sing it at home. I don't know.
Ooh.
Mr. Kirby.
Islandia has just showed that we know nothing as a pair of Midlanders living in the north. And this is 2011, but 280,000 people living in the Newcastle upon Tyne metropolitan area.
But Simon's come to your rescue. He says roughly 1.6 in the greater area. So I think I'll give you the point. Obviously you were nearer anyway, but thank you for Islandia for the more precise. Yeah, we're ridiculously over it. I think Newcastle, I find it one of these hard cities to define exactly what Newcastle is, because it kind of stretches in different areas and stuff. I suppose, like you say, in the metropolitan area, which is what we started with, that is significantly under our estimate. But around the kind of Tyne and Weir, sort of where the metro runs to, it all kind of blends into one. I don't mean that in a disrespectful sense. I mean it it's all easily commutable. Gives the feeling of being in a larger city than perhaps it is.
David Jordan asks, is the Emirates 777 the largest plane that we have here?
Well, they're getting to a 777 versus a 787 debate when
we have, that is our 777, and Chewy operates a 787 Dreamliner.
Exactly that. And if you, after the stream of course, would like to have a look through our back catalogue of plane spotting videos, we are occasionally visited by some Air Force aircraft. The Globemaster, was that one of the ones we caught last year?
Yeah.
We caught the Globemaster here. So I don't know, is a Globemaster bigger than this 777 and 787? But anyway, in terms of frequent
metric you want to look at.
Exactly that. And in terms of frequent traffic and commercial traffic, we're operating with 777s and 78s, which is lucky for me because the 777 is my favourite aircraft, or at least at the moment.
Simon Kirby speculates whether we're going to NA, that well-travelled destination.
You know what, Simon? That was one when I was making the thumbnail. I was tempted to play on that destination NA kind of dynamic, but I think that the well for me popular pop song "Destination Unknown" was ringing in my head at the time, so that's why I went for that. But destination NA, maybe we'll go with it. We have found out where NA is.
Have we?
No, I'm just saying, can you imagine if we knew where NA was? That'd be a YouTube exclusive, live from NA Airport.
And Wayne Tennant speculates whether we're going to Teesside. We're definitely in neither confirm nor deny mode at the minute. Bit of excitement for the day.
Couldn't possibly tell you.
What we will do on Saturday, as we wrap up the morning show at around 9 o'clock, that's the point we'll break the news. To be honest, an element of that reflects the fact we're toying between two locations. So I think this is the 737 bound for Dalaman. Don't want to get a telescope to join my son's one.
We both have one currently.
Have I got one?
For a last minute landing catch.
That's not a last.
First
you can't
aircraft.
Get a telescope for that.
Ken?
The wheels were still in the air.
Ken?
I've got to take it to a third party adjudication.
We need Ken to
VAR.
rule on it, please. I'm pretty sure Mark's on a telescope for that last ditch capture of the first aircraft of the day, but I will as always default to Ken's wise words on telescopes.
To be fair, if I go home at the end of a show without a telescope, I do feel a bit like something's missing.
It's not a show without a telescope. So the aircraft registration on this Boeing 737, for those who like that information, is GJZBK. Boeing 737-8. And as we've already covered, off to Dalaman. I'll let you enjoy the sounds of the aircraft.
While we wait for some sound from the plane, I can't believe it, Ken. You're a tough adjudicator.
Also, Alibi says telescope as well. So there's 2 votes for telescope.
Oh, has he gone there as well?
Yep.
Alibi, come on, man.
Thank you very much.
Well, looks like we have a majority verdict with the panel. Let's switch this juice on. Come on, bit of sound. I think when I got up this morning, I harboured thoughts about spending a couple of hours in the garden.
I mean, positives of doing a bit of gardening on this kind of weather is less need for sun cream. I think it is actually quite good gardening weather, to be honest. It's not freezing cold, but
there's absolutely no need for sun cream. I've come with a peak cap for the show. I've left my PSA beanie, and that's the one I needed. It's like taking your golf clubs out without a putter.
Did have a look at the garden myself this morning as well, because I mean, when it's slightly overcast, like I say, it's not the end of the world. Save on sun cream.
So I'm wondering what's occurring here. The Jet 2 that's over on the far side, off to Izmir. What time's that due to go? Well, look, 5 to 4. So a bit late. But the fact it's parked up there makes me think that it's going to be a bit later still.
I'm just dipping into the arrivals to see what we can look forward to in the next few minutes, and it looks fairly quiet on arrivals currently. I'm just going back earlier because I think there's a few delayed arrivals potentially.
Just spotted David Stevenson in the chat. Hi David. Population of Newcastle City 175,000.
Yep. No, it's hard to define. I think it's hard to define.
But is that city as against the metropolitan?
Exactly. But really appreciate you all chipping in the chat there, because obviously out here we're not really sure. So put our little bet. Either way, Mark gets it, doesn't he? With 2.5 million, he might have overestimated by a factor of, I don't know, quick maths, factor of a lot.
I'm not helping you out. You dumped on me with the joystick.
Factor of a lot. Anyway, just back to the arrivals. What can we expect?
Yeah, what can we expect?
Well, there's a scheduled TUI flight from Kefalonia, which was due in at 10 to 4. However, that's still showing as grey dot on flight radar for those who are flight radar enthusiasts, which to me often indicates hasn't taken off. Whether it's like a scheduled flight that's not yet up and running or what's going on there, not sure. Eastern Airways, similarly, grey dot from Aberdeen, was meant to arrive 5 to 4. Dublin is live, the Ryanair flight, so we can probably expect the Dublin Ryanair Boeing 737 to be our next arrival.
I think I can undercut you.
Go ahead.
I think Air France will be next in with their Embraer 190 standard.
I look forward to that. I do like a bit of flag carrier action.
And it's in what I consider to be the nice to look at hop livery.
Really?
Instead of the jumble shop one.
Oh, the nice to look at hop one is basically the classic Air France with just hop written
That'd be the
on
one.
the fuselage. Yeah. Yeah, I think I prefer a classic Air France livery as well if I had to rule on it. Just jump into the chat as well myself.
So a slight pause in action, folks. Air France inbound with their Embraer.
That gives us a good opportunity to welcome Mark Sanderson to the to the chat, to the stream this afternoon. He says, afternoon chaps, new subscriber. Great stuff, Mark. Thank you for joining us.
Mark Sanderson, good afternoon, my friend, and thank you for joining us. You are in the company of Mark and Eddie. I'm Mark, he's Eddie. Roy Cropper shopping bag. Asked, did we catch the G600 departure? Sadly not, my friend.
We're just toing and froing a bit of new equipment.
It's always the pre-show drama when something doesn't spark up.
So on the tarmac, visibly, we've got, if I go from left to right as we look at the terminal building, we've got a British Airways A319, we've got a Jet2 Boeing 737, which is in the boarding process currently. Looks like a lot of people getting on at the front door as opposed to the rear. And we've also on the apron got a Jet2 which is pushed back. Do you remember where that was going to, Mark? The Jet2 that we've got pushed back on the...
Izmir.
Izmir. And over to the far side in, just parked, not actually at a gate, we've got the FedEx Boeing 737 which we spoke about earlier on stream today. Thank you to everyone who has joined us this afternoon. If you have been enjoying the show, if you like what you see, we really appreciate you giving us the like, and consider subscribing if you haven't already done so.
I'm just looking at the chat. Ewan's comment that we've got a Chewy incoming Airbus A321 positioning flight from Gatwick.
Wow, I like that. I like that a lot, because I think Chewy doesn't operate traditionally Airbus aircraft, so that would be brilliant. Thanks for that, Ewan. A real catch.
Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that myself.
Ah, so Mark Sanderson, he's a local plane spotter as well. Not seen us down here before. Yeah, we're often down here. Feel free at the end of the stream to have a look through our catalogue of plane spotting adventures. Perhaps we'll run into you in the near future. Who knows?
Mark, if you ever see us streaming, just pop along and say hi, mate. We don't stand on ceremony.
DB Bassman, Lufthansa bringing back the Airbus A380 into service. Pity we don't see them in Edinburgh. Yes, and that brings me to something I want to talk about. Has everyone seen there's a new startup airline, I think, see, I might misquote it now. I think it's called Global Airways. I see they're a startup. I'm not sure if they're flying yet, but I've seen a news article going around saying they've actually, for a startup, they're catching a lot of the headlines because they've purchased an Airbus A380. Don't know if anyone else in the chat has picked up on that.
So what routes are they planning to operate?
I'm glad you asked, Mark, because I did read that. I read that earlier, but I don't think I managed to grab a screen grab. I think their first flight, they're intending to start operations from, I read, Gatwick. And I think it's going transatlantic to North America. The precise North American airport has eluded me, unfortunately. Apologies to you.
A couple of quick good afternoons. Alexandra Wood, one of our mod team, just joined the chat. Alexandra, hope you're having a cracking day. Similarly, David Palfyman, welcome back, and I hope Thursday's playing out well for you.
Yes.
The spotted Lano, good afternoon. I'm Mark, you can hear warbling away. Co-commentary from my son Eddie. I don't think we've said hello before.
Hello, Lano. And also thank you, Simon Kirby, who has saved me with backing up on my details, saying Global have one aircraft currently and it's an A380. That's why it's been grabbing the headlines. I have seen it. It's been grabbing the headlines.
Eddie likes to keep abreast of topical events, obviously. Just waiting for our incoming Air France Embraer.
Global Airways, weren't they a default airline in Microsoft Flight Sim? It rings a bell. I was a big user of Microsoft Flight Sim X back in the day. But this, I think this is a genuine, I hope it's a genuine news story I've brought to our attention. I mean, if Simon's on it as well, that adds a lot of credibility to it.
The word he was reaching for was gravitas.
Gravitas, exactly that. We've got some action. Jet 2 Boeing 737 is now making its way on taxi to the active runway. Where's this one off to, Mark? Do we know?
Not one clue. But we'll soon put that right. I was just looking at Digit Jumbo's comment about the global airline starting Q2 2024. So I'm just catching up, folks.
Talking about clues and having some clues,
well,
I'm going to put my linguistic knowledge on the line here, because Lano says we're expecting the Airbus?
Well, no, Embraer.
Ah.
So this is Gran Canaria bound 737 with Jet 2. Well, I'll pull the camera away as soon as our incomer. Over to you, Eddie.
Going to put my linguistic knowledge on the line, and Lano says he's from Sweden, so I'm going to say hejsan, which I believe is hello in Swedish.
Lando, tell us if that's true.
Sometimes you just got to put it on the line. Quick question from Wayne Tennant while we wait for this Air France. Mark, do you remember the Air 2000?
Yes, I do. Not flown on one, but I do remember. It's funny when you kind of think back of charter airlines of the past. I mean, Britannia's always got that soft spot with me because it was the first I ever flew on.
That's a nice segue into David Jordan's question. Do any of you remember Thomas Cook? Yes, we do. Thomas Cook, of course, a big miss from the aviation community. And similar, I think First Choice used to have their own aircraft as well, right? Before they merged with
that's
Chewy.
right.
Air Tours. Did Air Tours used to have an aircraft?
I can't remember. Throw that one to the chat. I'm just trying to track this Air France Embraer.
In the meantime, Lano says it's hey-san or hey, so thanks for that, Lano.
Oh, looks like the Izmir bound Jet 2 is now on the way as well. So we've got continuity of action, folks. So as always, if you like what you see, please do consider giving us your like. And if you're not yet subscribed, we would love to have you with us. Of course, if you've done all of those things, you are in our hearts forever.
So I think the Jet 273 is holding short for the imminent arrival of the Air France Embraer.
Yeah, I've chickened out. I can't have another telescope at this stage of the show.
Some beautiful aviation sounds kicking up now from the apron.
Alrighty. Ah, there's the blast. We are proper getting it today. Right, so here's our Izmir bound Jet 737.
Aircraft registration GJZHK. David Jordan, you're quite right about Jet 2 on the Airbus A330. I think it was an ex-tanker. I've seen a few plane spotting videos about it, and in fact we caught it on one of our plane spotting adventures to Manchester about a year ago, a bit over a year ago now.
I've just seen Andy Appleyard's entry into the chat. Good afternoon, Andy. You're in the company of Mark and Eddie. Mark doing the talking at the minute. Weekend is nearly here.
Just enjoying reading some of these reminiscing.
Whoa, 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 whoa. No, carry on.
I'm enjoying reading some of these reminiscent plane spotting messages about different aircraft. Obviously, Britannia morphed into Thompson, which morphed into Chewy. I think it's Chewy Fly for a bit. We'll just watch this departure, and I think we've got
what I was going to say, but my head went all over the place, was thank you so much DB Bassman, great friend of the channel, very kindly giving us a super chat donation.
Yeah, echo exactly those sentiments, Mark, from DB Bassman. Thank you very, very much. We'll enjoy a coffee and cake, courtesy of yourself.
No, we're going to invest that money, that's okay with you, DB. We've got some other hardware ambitions.
There's going to be no coffee and cake, is that what you're saying, Mark? well, do you know what? It delights me even more to know we've got some more hardware ambitions.
No, hang on, let's have it right. DB has made a very kind donation, and it could be coffee and cake, but we like to put the money to work for the channel.
Well, that's exactly right. I think what Mark's trying to say is your kind donation, DB, is exactly the kind of thing that will help us continue to bring aviation experiences to all of you guys at home.
Alexandra Wood says that we have a Beach Super King pinging for departure. Thank you, Alexandra. I wasn't sure if it was ghosting in my head, but I could hear something strumming away. So chance to get our emoji, turboprop emoji, to the fore. If you could watch for that, Eddie, because I'll probably not see it so well at this position.
I've got eyes on.
Check that out.
Well, I've got eyes on nothing right now. I've got eyes on the Aviation Academy side where it will emerge.
DB says we've got to watch our waistlines.
Exactly that, DB, you're not wrong. I know Mrs. Plain Sailing Aviation would not be too impressed to imagine Mark eating cake, and to be fair, I think Mrs. Eddie is now starting to take a closer interest in my dietary habits as well.
To be fair, after the ordeal of Dusseldorf security the other weekend post-show, I followed DB's instructions mostly, so it was coffee and cake, which I converted into something else. which went down a treat. I just wish I could remember the name of the dish now. Basically sausage and mash and sauerkraut with loads of gravy. Exquisite.
In summary, top stuff, DB, and thank you very much from both of us. Also, I just want to pick up on Alexandra Wood's comment. It's going to the most popular of airports, NA. Now,
Ooh.
just to jump in on that one, for those of you who are recently joining the stream today, we are off to airport destination unknown, aka NA, on Saturday.
Yep, more details during our Saturday morning show. That will be an early bird one. Bearing in mind we've got viewers all over the world, so that will be 6 till 9, and at the back end of that show we'll confirm where the show is for the second part of the day. That will be 2 till 6, or 2 till half 5, something in that region, once we've got certainty on the movements. So a couple of options we're knocking about, keeping it fresh for you all, so hope folks will be able to join us on both, or one or the other.
So we've got that Beechcraft. Was it a Beechcraft? Beach King, I'm saying.
Beach King.
Beechcraft.
Beach Super King.
We've got the Beach Super King, who's now making its way from the General Aviation Park, I believe is what you'd call where it's parked up, along taxiway now towards the active runway.
They kind of sneak out.
Just holding there, I'd imagine awaiting permission from the tower.
I wonder what that van's up to further back.
The one doing full beam headlights in our direction. Could it be a plain sailing aviation enthusiast? Probably not.
As long as we don't suddenly lose our signal. Ken says,
oh no,
Eddie Beechcraft.
Eddie, Ken, come on Ken, don't mock me.
And to think he said I made up joss sticks.
Look.
Since then he said there's 2.5 million people in Newcastle.
There are, on a Saturday night, after I've had a few drinks.
Oh dear.
Look. No, I have to take that, I'm afraid, yeah. There is no such thing as a Beechcraft. Or is there?
Well, this one's operated by RVL Aviation. That much we do know.
Oh, he's ripping into me more. Ken, come on.
Anyway, we've got an incoming Aer Lingus ATR 72. So what's happening here? What is going to happen?
So he's on the move on the runway. So will he come for further runway, or will he take... Yeah, he's coming all the way up the end.
Well, I only had a very quick look at flight radar, and I suppose I hadn't stretched the map out, but I got the feeling that the incoming Aer Lingus Belfast flight was about a minute out.
I hope not. No, I think they've got time. I can't see, just looking on the flight path, nothing showing around Callerton Lane End, so I think there'll be time. Ooh, get the props emojis out, guys, because we're getting some real prop noises here.
Quite a natty livery.
So we'll go in the chat, Mark.
All go. What, emojis?
Well, yeah, we've got emojis, but we're also getting... I'll just let this takeoff go.
Checking out that bird song.
First of all, Visalandia says you need to be careful, Mark, because Eddie will claim that if you don't feed him cake, you have to expect problems. I echo those sentiments. But then
Visalandia, it's like you know him.
But then we move on down the chat, and I'd like to say a massive thank you from both myself and Mark, I'm sure he'll jump on in a minute, to Digit Jumbo, who's jumped in with the super chat there. Thank you very, very much. Which was subsequently followed by David Palfreyman, who also jumps in with the super chat. Thank you to you both. Really keeps the show going, and it helps us bring you more aviation experiences.
And I'm just going to pile in behind that. Digit Jumbo, David Palfreyman, fantastic. I don't know what to say really. Really, really touched. David is a regular friend to the show. Digit, we only met a week and a bit ago, and I'm just so impressed. You know, so grateful. What can I say, man? Brilliant. What I can tell you is the money is going straight into either venues, equipment. That's all we do with super chats and membership.
Exactly that.
All over the place now. I'm having a wobble. Oh, Mad Matt. How you doing, mate? Weatherman in town.
Here we go, ATR.
Roger that.
So there's our arrival from
Belfast.
The Aer Lingus ATR 72, registration G. Oh, I lost the letters there. I had it as it flew by. There we go.
Had it and it's gone.
I had it. I just got too excited.
I'm still too excited.
Can we get Mark to sing?
No, don't make me sing.
Yes, thank you, Stoffel Bell, GCMMK. I could remember the MMK bit. I just saw it fly past in front of me. But I couldn't think what the letter was before the MMK. But there you go, saved me. Thank you very much, Stoffel Bell.
So, good afternoon to anyone that has joined the stream in the last 10-15 minutes. Welcome to Plain Sailing Aviation, here for a midweek afternoon stream at Newcastle International Airport. You are in the company of me, Mark, currently talking, and also Eddie, who's co-commentating.
Buenas tardes. Good afternoon.
Don't set him off, folks.
Aviation, international travel, bit of languages. What more do you want?
I'm just going to rest us the other side of this inconveniently situated bush.
I like that weather information from Mad Matt as well, saying cloud level is broken, height 2,500 feet.
You see, I'm not sure. Here it is broken.
Yeah, I think broken would be so you can. Yeah, no, I see your point.
I think it might be over there.
No, but I think what we're looking at, the greyer clouds are at 2,500, and I think the sort of white is more of a backdrop at a higher altitude. But I don't know. Either way, I love detail. I love detail.
Matt's all over the weather. All over the weather. What I can confirm is that we have yet to move into plane spotting flip-flop territory.
Yeah, flip-flops are not yet there. Neither sandals. I'm watching Mark on the camera. Actually, he's looking like he's missing the hand warmers at the moment.
Yeah, I would have deployed them if I'd thought about it.
It is a little bit nippy.
Well, I did say to you, do you think you need a coat? I bought a coat and I thought I'd be hanging it on the fence post and probably leaving it here overnight. My other party trick.
Love that memory there, Mark Sanderson. First memory of Newcastle Airport was standing in a field at the Dinnington end, so that's the opposite end to the runway that we're at the moment, watching the Concorde come in around 1981. Cool memory, that. My only memory of Concorde was as a very young child at Mark's nan and granddad's, my great nan and granddad's house, which would be what was the sort of Bethnal Green, was it?
Hatton Green.
Hatton Green, sorry. I'm getting all over the place here with my names. Hatton
Just
Green.
round the corner from Myrtle Avenue.
Round the corner from Myrtle Avenue, and being outside, Mark lured me outside to see a Concorde, and as being a young child, Concorde goes buzzing over, and I'm watching it, I'm thinking, I want to enjoy this, I want to watch it, and then the ground, well, at least it felt like the ground was vibrating. I ended up running inside and like cuddling up to my great nana, being like, oh my god. So yeah.
I forgot to say it was a bit noisy.
Terrifying for my 5-year-old eardrums. No, it wasn't terrifying. I think it's just something that until you experience it, you can't prepare for it.
No. Sadly, I know there's a lot of talk about developing a replacement, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. Isn't there one that's scheduled potentially for introduction around 2029?
So I think jumping back into what we were talking about earlier in the chat as well, I think United are the front movers and shakers with that new supersonic jet as well, I think. It's called, is it called Boom Supersonic?
That's right, they've got first customer option on it, I think.
Okay.
Ooh, bit of Jet 2 pushing back.
Yeah, so Alexandra's called that out, I believe, which is Jet 2 to Alicante, or Alicante. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Alexandra.
Good afternoon to Planecaster.
Danny of Planecaster. How you doing, mate? I've just seen Alibi's back in 5, so catch you shortly, Alibi. So Mad Matt was trying to organise a Jolly Boys outing. Where were you going? Oops, where's the plane gone? Can't whack a good Jolly Boys outing.
So in its pure authenticity, they'll be off to Margate. But,
well, that's just a regional choice.
I guess so. Got a KLM, 10 minutes out.
York?
Amsterdam.
No, Mad Matt's off to York. He can get there by train.
Oh, with cross purposes.
The Jolly Boys, they're not going to hire a dodgy coach like the old Only Fools and Horses version of events.
I remember, so more tales from Eddie's childhood. We went to York once, and I don't know if you recollect this, Mark. Obviously, we were there, I can't remember what we were even there for. It could have even been, I guess, some kind of tourism we were doing. And in the morning when we got up and walked down the street, wasn't there a man in his underpants chained to a lamppost? So I just want to say, Mad Matt, be careful. Don't get chained in your underpants to a lamppost if you go to.
We don't want to hear that you've been chained up anywhere, Mad Matt. Danny of Planecaster. Yes, Leicester City, mate. So it's a time for sensitivity, as you can imagine.
That makes FIFA career mode more interesting. I have to try and get them out of the championship. On a budget.
Good luck with that. I keep thinking, they keep saying there's about 8 to 10 players going somewhere else. I wish they'd hurry up and go. Ooh, now we've got a fairly good pan to the FedEx. This came in about 10 to 6 this morning.
I'd love a bit more freight action at Newcastle. I'm surprised we don't get more, being quite a northern outpost, but I get the impression a lot of the freight flies into Edinburgh and then is ferried here, because there used to be that ASL that would go Edinburgh to Newcastle in the morning. So,
well, I know Newcastle have recently invested in some new freight handling equipment, so whether that is going to potentially increase the pass through here, we'll see.
Good afternoon, RCC.
RCC, good afternoon. Just quickly fired a snap off. It's probably a bit out of range. ERB, good afternoon and farewell to you, my friend. Catch you next time. Been a pleasure. Hopefully catch you Saturday. You've got 2 opportunities on Saturday, 6 till 9 here at Newcastle. Oops.
And then it's off
Alicante on the move. And our mystery show from Destination Unknown or NA, which will be on air Saturday from 2 o'clock through to around 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Destination Unknown.
I don't know if Digit Jumbo is still in the chat. Anything interesting passed through Dusseldorf recently, Digit?
Just going to say goodbye as well to Mark Sanderson. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Hope to see you again soon.
Mark Sanderson, hope to catch you next time, mate. Thank you for your support. Roy Cropper's shopping bag. Exactly that, mate. 6 till 9. Quite a decent stack of departure traffic between 6 and 7:30, I think, anyway. Just want some decent weather.
Gentle crosswind now sweeping across the runway, according to the windsock, that is, at our end.
Ah, UK Heroes. How's it going in Blythe? Just down the road from us. We're certainly doing well at the airport end of things. Just wishing for a spot of summer. I'm quite looking forward to this Chewy A321.
I'm delighted. I haven't seen a Chewy, I haven't seen an Airbus. I wonder if is it in Chewy livery, or is it just one of theirs sort of on a lease? Or...
I don't know.
I'll let you enjoy the noises coming from this fantastic Jet2 Holidays livery Boeing 737.
Remember, folks, gentle nudge. If you've yet to hit the like button and you're enjoying the show, please give us that like. It helps us loads with YouTube. And if you're not yet subscribed, we'd love to have you with us. No hanging around.
Bit more intel on that Chewy Airbus A321 Neo. Registration will be GPOWT, operating for Chewy, using a Chewy call sign, but we're expecting it in all white livery as it's a Titan Airbus A321 Neo, which, you know, still cool spot. But I think I would have been beyond excited should it have been in a Chewy livery.
I don't know, I'm excited enough.
I'm already excited. I'd have been beyond excited.
Oh yeah, well that's a different thing. Folks, we don't really want to get Eddie beyond excited. I'm never getting back in the car.
Question from David Jordan. Mark and Eddie, what are your favourite planes? You can go first.
Well, I'm going to say, unsurprisingly, the Boeing 747.
Boeing 747, affectionately known as the Queen. Eddie is going to go for See, I mean, I think we've got one coming in, Mark. Mark.
Oop. Now, to be fair, if Eddie hadn't intervened, I'd have earned myself a telescope there. And I knew it was on finals as well.
Sorry if there's a bit of an echo, guys. I think we're just slightly in the wrong position. Favourite plane for myself, quite ironically, because KLM's just arrived, I'm going to say, and I've not seen it in person, I've just enjoyed it from Mark's stream from Amsterdam a couple of weeks ago now. Or was it last week? I've lost track of time. I like a KLM 777. Any
particular livery, Eddie?
I don't know. Are there any liveries that we should know about? Maybe the chat can help us out. Is there any KLM 777 liveries? No, I like.
I knew where this was going.
No, my actual favourite aircraft. Joking aside, I like the standard livery, if I can call it that. KLM 777 blue looks. I like the 777. And I know, perhaps people will say, you know, it's a bit of a workhorse aircraft, or maybe, you know, it's not as glamorous as the A380, for example, or perhaps even the A350 or the 787, but there's something about workhorse aircraft that I just like, and the immense noise 777s generate. That's what catches my attention, and I think KLM livery, at the moment, the KLM livery is my favourite, so that's why I'm saying the KLM livery 777.
I've just spotted Digit Jumbo's comments about Dusseldorf. I hadn't realised, Digit, that you were Antwerp based. You'd be more in the parish of one of our moderators, Nell W. No, I thought you were local to Dusseldorf.
Good spot from Les Donaldson. The FedEx has an ASL logo on it, which makes you think.
Oh, nothing much gets past Les, you know.
It's a good spot, that, Les. Digit Jumbo jumps in and says Boeing 747 is the best airplane. It is hard to argue against Boeing 747, so I'd have to, you know, have to default to your Mark and your opinion on that one. But I don't know, it's something about the 777's noise, aircraft noise.
Here's the thing though, just tossing this out there, and it doesn't change my preference to the 74, but thinking back to when I first started plane spotting, the 707, you know, I think that's, oh, I'd love to see that again.
Have we said hi to Michelle? I'm really losing track now. Have we said hi? Michelle Johnson's just joined us in the stream.
Michelle, no we haven't. Mark talking at the minute. How you doing?
Nice to see you,
Hope you're having
Michelle.
a great day.
Eddie here today as well. Occasional guest on Plain Sailing live stream, Eddie.
He passes as our celebrity guest.
Celebrity guest with expert intel, such as the Beechcraft that we saw earlier on. Isn't that right, Ken? The Beechcraft?
Eddie's even setting his alarm clock particularly early for the Saturday show. Oh, British Airways on the move.
Well, that cues in nicely for my second Airbus A319 fact of the day. Are you ready for it, Mark?
I'm ready.
The first Airbus A319 was rolled out at Airbus's Hamburg plant on the 24th of August 1995.
Just seen Matt's comment about echo. I think we might have got close again.
Yeah, potentially.
I think we're okay now.
Yes. Okay.
When we get excited, we'll trackside. We kind of hop about all over the place. We're saying at the start of the show, we're just trying a new piece of kit out at the minute, and we haven't quite got the audio synced exactly as we want it. So if we get the mics too close, we pick an echo. One of the things I was down the airport for this morning, doing some pre-show trials.
See, the British Airways livery on a 777. I'm loving the British Airways livery on this Airbus A319, but a 777, I'm sticking with KLM.
I do love a 350 as well, you know. As it hurtles off down the track to Heathrow, probably about 50 minutes or thereabouts, depending on the congestion at the far end. Here comes the blast. Is this a sound test?
No, I'm just thinking about that.
Just rest us back here. One for you there, Michelle. Michelle, whenever you turn up, that's fine. As with everybody on the show, we're grateful that... Oh, I got that echo back. Yeah, when you're here, you're here. Okay, trying to bit behind all of a sudden. It's right inside the rucksack.
Right, I'm back.
Ah, good stuff. I'll leave you with the mic while I have a quick drink.
Oh, a good question from David Jordan. Another question for you all. What plane do you like the least? We're keen to see what the chat has to say about that as well, because what plane do I like the least? I don't think that's probably the toughest question you could ask, because I think it's easy to say what's your favourite plane. I mean, it can evolve, it can change over time, but least favourite plane? I'll have to come back to that one maybe later in the programme. I'll give it some thought, but to be honest, I love everything aviation, so least favourite plane.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. I thought that would be easier to answer than it was. But while you've been talking, I've been standing here thinking about it. And truth be told, I can't get to one.
I think least favourite livery, I might be able to give a better answer. But plane, no, I'll have to come back to that one.
Having a quick look, see what's moving and shaking. Apart from me, we're cold.
I like Wayne Tennant's comment. I wonder if you'd do Britannia Retro. I think if anyone has any influence at TUI operations here, please do Britannia Retro liveries on that would just make my day.
Les Donaldson made that comment a few weeks ago in the chat, so there's a few of us now, I think, around how cool would a Britannia look?
For me,
stick it on a Dreamliner.
Well, if they stuck a Britannia livery on a Dreamliner, I'd have to tell Mrs. Eddie that save up all my Christmas and birthday presents for a while, because I want to go on that plane. I'd have to. I think I want to go at some point on a Dreamliner, but if you put a Britannia livery on it, there's a package that you can't turn down.
We've hit one of those little gaps that you get sometimes. DB Bassman says the cargo look 7.4 might pass us overhead.
I think
too cloudy, DB.
I think Mad Matt covered it with the cloud base at 2,500 feet. We are unlikely to pick up. We could hear it, perhaps.
Oh, that's an interesting comment from Mad Matt. for travelling the A320 or 21. Now, I'm not a particularly big fan of the 320 myself, if I think about it.
To be on board, is he saying least favourite?
On board as a travel, yeah.
Okay.
I've never flown on the 321, so I wouldn't know.
To be honest, there was a period in my life where I was more of a frequent traveller, but you know, since the pandemic's hit, I haven't been much. So I won't be able to. I won't really be qualified to tell you about the onboard experience at the moment.
Just dropping back into the chat, I've just spotted, in fact my screen's moved, Daniel Reed. Good afternoon, Daniel. Don't think I've said hello. Let me put that wrong right. Wayne Tennant likes a 757. I've got a soft spot for them, you know that.
Yeah, I think one of my favourite flights, if I think back to experiences, was on a 757. I think I was kind enough that my parents took me, Mark, obviously, and Mrs. Plain Sailing took me, I think it would be to Gran Canaria when I was around 11, and that was on a 75, and I was just awestruck because until then, experiences had tended to be on Boeing 73s to the Balearics and such like, but that extra, back in those days, it seemed very exotic to me, the idea of going to the Canaries on a 75. That just seemed like couldn't get any better.
And Simon Kirby has tactfully reminded me that I have yet to get on a KLM Embraer, despite my best efforts.
Oh, were you only confined to the 73s on your journey stamps?
I've done 3 of these now, and they were all 73s, 73800s, which were very nice, by the way.
Gutted. Interestingly, this Titan, it's scheduled to arrive in 4 minutes, but it's not airborne, I believe. Oh. So it'll be interesting whether we are graced with its presence.
I'm just looking at the cargo look, 7-4 bearing down on us. DV's right, it will overfly us, but no way are we going to see that. In fact, the cloud's heavier north of us, slightly brighter behind us, but no, it's a shame. I mean, that was a cracking picture that we included in the last show from Ken Alloway, which I think is in the community post as well. Cargo Looks 50th anniversary livery. Stunning. But to be honest with you, even the regular Cargo Looks is, well, for me it's easy on the eye, biased as I am towards 747s.
Just going to jump on Mad Matt's comment about 747s in terms of flying on a flight sim. I always find it very challenging not to stall the 747s on flight sim. I feel quite cumbersome.
Claire Martin.
Sorry.
Good afternoon, Claire. So Bristol, Dublin and Exeter all on the way. Good stuff. Oh, I can hear the Cargo Looks. Can you hear it, Eddie?
Yes, I can. Can't see it though, can't really get a bearing on where the noise is coming from, but we can hear.
I think it's virtually directly above us.
Can hear it cruising away. Michelle, I don't know if it has left Gatwick, the Airbus A321 Neo Titan Airways. I'm not sure. I mean, I'll be guided by the chat onto that. What I can see on flight radar, I can't tell. I'll be pleased if it has left Gatwick.
So here we have a nice little procession of planes inbound.
What are we expecting?
Well, we have an easyJet incomer from Bristol, an A320, not beloved by Mad Matt, and to be fair, yours truly on reflection, haven't always found those the most comfortable of rides. Pursued up the track by Ryanair 737 and a Loganair from Exeter, Embraer 145. Just going to move the camera around, not that there's any immediate action. See what the ops team do when there's nothing happening.
Les Donaldson accurately tells us that we are 5 likes to go to 100. So,
ooh, nice one.
If you haven't already, you're enjoying what you're seeing, you'd like to put a smile on Mark and Eddie's face, do consider hitting that like button.
Yeah, that'd be absolutely fantastic, folks. I always use the cricket metaphor. Get that 100 up, press on for the 150 and see where we land. Yep. We are into the last hour of the show.
Well, it would be nice as well. I mean, in terms of YouTube, gets the likes up, might put our stream into the lap of some other aviation enthusiasts. I think we're expecting a little bit quiet at the moment, but we're expecting a bit of an upturn into the last hour. There's a procession of arrivals we're expecting and a fair few departures as well in the last hour.
I think there's a Jet 2 that was due in earlier that was delayed till around 5:20. Oh, I've dreamt about it. So just going to move the camera around just in case there's anybody unfamiliar with Newcastle. So here's our tower. As I always say, best seat in the house. Bit of a cliche. Single strip runway, around 2,334 metres. Pointing it to the far end, which is runway 25. The end we're at, the opposite end, is 07. So the prevailing wind here is generally westerly. So as a rule, they're taking off towards our position. If you kept going beyond the hedge over there, you end up in the sea eventually. And then if we just move the camera around a bit more, you get down to the Newcastle Aviation Academy, where they're training flight crew, ground ops and aeronautical engineering. The business jet park is, I suppose, behind that big bush, and there's a flying school, flying club, small number of tiddlers stationed here.
Just behind the terminal as well, we've got the Chewy Airways flight BY1444 737 pushing back tail to the west before its departure to Lanzarote. And for those who've got flight radar open, I just want to point out as well what a photo that is by Muka Paza 75 Leon Roberto. That aircraft, they've caught the aircraft there. I'm not sure where that is, but that is a stunning photograph. So for those who happen to have flight radar open, the accompanying photo that goes with this registration GTUMS is a stunner. Certainly recommend checking that one out.
You've got a question from David Jordan.
Shoot.
It says, Eddie, you got an answer yet? My answer is the XF-84 Thunder Screech.
Okay. Least favourite aircraft. Come on.
He's nonplussed. So while he's nonplussed...
Alright, no, I'm going to go for it. And this could be controversial, because I know these days they're a great spot. Back in the days where there was more Boeing 747s, I didn't used to like the Airbus A320. I used to see it as its rival. You know, if you think between sort of, I don't know, Formula One terms, Mercedes and Red Bull. If you like Mercedes, you probably don't like Red Bull. And I used to see the Airbus A340 as the Boeing 747's like arch nemesis. So I didn't like it because it was like a single decker with 4 engines on it. And at that point in time, so if I had to say least favourite, Airbus A340. That said, if one was to come into land at Newcastle, I'd be ecstatic.
And in the meantime, I've just seen Ken Alloway's very generous super chat land.
Thank you very much, Ken. Really appreciate that.
Great friend of the channel. Thank you, Ken. Really appreciated. And you know we'll put the money to good work. A real friend of the channel. Right, let's get myself ready for this trio of incoming planes. Thank you, Alexandra Wood. easyJet, A320 from Bristol, 4 minutes out. Ryanair, further 4 minutes out. Loganair, another 4 minutes out. So all nicely spaced.
Good stuff from sorry, good stuff from Simon, Kirby and Marcus as well, just giving us a bit more intel on that photo that I was looking at and admiring on flight radar. The Chewy pit was taken at Turin, Cassel, Sandro Pertini. So some good background information on that one.
It's a pretty cool picture, isn't it?
Stunning. I think if you take that, oof, hats off to the photographer.
So our easyJet is just passing over, heading on the wall. So according to flight radar, what's that going to be, about 3-4 minutes out?
Yeah, Michelle, I think the A320 had 4 engines on it. I'm pretty sure it did, but if I'm wrong, I'm sure I'll be corrected. But
sorry, the what?
The Airbus A340, is it
Squad jet?
4 engines. So yeah, it did. I mean, to be honest with you, I love all aircraft, but I had to choose one, and I guess I was more of a 747 fan. The A340 was its rival, so that's how I came to that conclusion.
It's another species that's sort of disappearing from the skies, and of course it doesn't have the same read across for freight, does it?
No, I mean it's sad that it's going. I think I've actually
Air France pushing back, but we'll go to the Chewy departure.
I think I've actually flown on an A340. There was a phase where Iberia was running A340s to London Heathrow from Madrid to Heathrow, obviously. And I'm pretty sure it was either an A330 or A340. Now, unfortunately, in the modern era, where you just board via a jet bridge, and it was one of these occasions where I was on a connecting flight. So literally in Barajas, Madrid airport, for those who've been there, if you make a connecting flight, you've got quite a journey from one plane to another. So I basically ran from one plane to another, jumped on board. It was obviously a heavy, and I was trying to look out the window to see how many engines it got. I'm pretty sure it had 2 on the wing I was looking at. So I'm thinking it was an A340, but it could have easily been an A330. Pretty poor from a nav geek perspective, but there you go.
Thing was, at the time, you never imagined you'd be commentating on a live stream, did you?
No, but I was very intrigued as to what it was, but I can't think why I just didn't look at the safety instructions. They always tell you what aircraft it is. Who knows?
Right, we are literally seconds away from going eyes on the easyJet, folks, that's incoming.
Registration GEZPB.
And the good news is there's 2 more incoming behind this. So if you've recently joined the stream and wonder where we are, Newcastle International Airport, in the company of Mark and Eddie from Plain Sailing Aviation. So thank you for choosing to spend some time with us. On air till just after 6 o'clock. As soon as this vacates, we have a Chewy 737. Where do we say this was going? Lanzarote?
Lanzarote. Yep, ace.
And they'll have to get a bit of a wriggle on because Ryanair are bearing down the track, incoming.
Throwback to our recent in-stream poll, I think it was from Edinburgh Airport. There's some split scimitar winglets, am I right, Mark?
You are right, Eddie. That was the poll winner as well, wasn't it?
Chewy logo emblazoned on those split scimitars as it lines up on the centre line. Aircraft registration GTUMS or GTUMS.
GTUMS. Ah, GTUMS. just occurred to me, I think it was DB Bassman, but I didn't cover it at the time, about the comment about getting all the domestics done. That's my day tomorrow, hoovering and...
Well, yeah, well, if you will have all the fun on Saturday going to destination unknown, there's a price to be paid domestically.
Apparently.
David Jordan asks, do we have a favourite helicopter? I'm going to go for a Chinook. I like the Chinook. I'm going military on that one.
To be fair, I'm not really much of an expert on helicopters. It was fantastic when we streamed at Aberdeen the other week, the Skiorskis and Bells, I think, mainly. Skiorskis, actually, I think.
So I missed that one, but I heard it was something to... a sight to behold, all these
but
helicopters.
I'm with you, a Chinook. The sound of a Chinook is just, oh man.
Chinook are the helicopters with they can rotate their blades, am I right in that?
False alarm, that was a train. Like it sounds the same.
Yeah, I remember I went to Farnborough International Air Show when I was younger, and I think they
that was what I was going to talk about.
did a brilliant display of Chinooks there. Do you have parachuters jumping out of it, or am I imagining that now?
No, but they had some guys. No, I don't think anybody was parachuting off them, but they had the ramp down and there was a bunch of guys basically sitting in the back of the ramp while the pilot was flinging it around.
Ken Alloway adds a bit of intrigue to the chat. He says there's a C-130 Hercules Royal Canadian Air Force heading our way at 26,000 feet over the North Sea.
Do you know what, Ken? If you'd said 5,000 feet, I reckon you'd have put 30 beats on my pulse.
Also 100 likes up. Thank you.
100 likes. Well done.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you to everybody who have made that happen, and thank you for letting us know, Alibi and Ken, all the mods. Thank you very much, everyone.
Chance to get to 150 by 6 o'clock, perhaps?
Surely not.
Well, we'll see.
That'd be insanely impressive. We really appreciate it. Something as free and easy to give as a like really means the world to the channel.
We've got to be cautious now because that incoming Loganair will not see it on flight radar.
Rocket mode.
Cloaking device.
Well, the Air France is conspicuously holding. So, can we anticipate that Loganair arrival before its departure? Maybe yes.
I don't need another telescope on my tally.
Roy Cropper's shopping bag has shot down hopes for a surprise Royal Canadian Air Force arrival and says it's heading to Prestwick, so heading your way, Ken. Thank you, Jamie Miller, as well, for clearing up the helicopter debate on the changeable rotor position. It's the V-22 Osprey.
Sorry about that, folks. A little bit urgent. We've not been able to watch it in on flight radar or see much through the hedge. Bit of a challenge. Incoming Embraer 145 from Exeter. Right, let's have this departing Embraer 190 Air France hot on its way to Paris Charles de Gaulle.
See you Saturday, Wayne. Thank you for dropping by today.
Wayne, see you Saturday, bud. Been a pleasure to be in your company.
Just watching this Air France take the centre line. Is it going to be a turn and burn? That's going to hold. Albeit briefly as he powers up those engines.
Any news on our Chewy A321?
I'll have a little look as you're watching the Embraer 190 jet off to Paris Charles de Gaulle. Dipping into arrivals.
Just best up on the.
So it is live,
Dublin
yes,
plane.
it's delayed and it's live, so we can expect the Titan Airways Airbus A321 Neo here at Newcastle International Airport. Arrival time, we're expecting, as one of the later aircraft in the show today, at 5:48 we will expect that beauty. All white livery.
David Jordan asked the question about Stavanger Airport, whether that is the furthest flight from Newcastle with Loganair.
To be honest, not too knowledgeable as to the.
I'm not sure. Is it
Southampton's
the
the furthest south.
Direct flight it might be. Isn't there a connecting flight now to Oslo via Aberdeen, a bus stop?
Good show.
Because I'm trying to talk Mrs. Plain Sailing Aviation into a weekend in Oslo. Although usually when we kind of identify overseas sort of long weekend destinations, they kind of descend into civil disorder. We were going to Paris in the spring, kind of got put off that one. I do apologise folks if I sound a little bit sniffly. It really is surprisingly cold here.
A little bit fresh in the northeast of England today. So we're looking at Thursday afternoon tea time rush here at Newcastle Airport. Just had that Loganair arrival. We've just seen the Embraer 190 heading off to Paris. We've got, looking at the apron, a number of buses waiting to board and deboard the aircraft we have currently at the gate.
Claire Martin advises is that the Corfu Jet 2 737 on its way in. Not 2 minutes, not get my words correct, not too many minutes away. You can tell I've got sound monitoring back. Keep tripping over myself. Layla Bergman, good afternoon Layla. How goes it? Getting ready for a bit of deboarding action.
Quick question for you, Mark, as you're on the camera.
Hang on. Whoop. Shred ahead, good afternoon, Shred ahead. Just spotted you. Carry on.
Good afternoon, Shred ahead. No, I had a question for you there, Mark. What the livery is, it's going to be a bit weird, what the livery is on that bus that is waiting to either board or deboard. I think it's a deboarding of the Ryanair Boeing 737. It's in quite a vivid blue from where I'm standing, so I don't know if it's an airline branded bus or whether it's some kind of Newcastle Airport branding.
Well, the one behind definitely looks classic Newcastle branding, some of that Cadbury purple.
Yeah.
The one in the foreground,
we'll have to wait until it
just
takes a spin. Favourite bus livery?
Can I say I don't have one? London Red. London Red.
Yeah. No, London Red's very iconic.
Ooh, interesting one from Alexandra Wood. A Piper twin Comanche from Cambridge looks like it's heading this way.
Well, I had a
Do
bit.
we have an ETA?
Well, I can hear a prop, but it's on the deck. I can hear a prop, I think, taxiing. But could be a prop. I hope it's a prop.
I can't hear anything. I could probably get hearing claiming.
Well,
Any solicitors in the chat?
could be that I am hearing noises. Sounds a bit ominous, but I'm not sure. I thought I did hear something fire up. You know, I'm not messing around.
Well, in the meantime, we have that 737 from Corfu. It's a matter of seconds away, really. Departed 3 hours 6 minutes ago. Boy, are they going to feel the difference.
Bit of a come down. I thought it was meant to be really hot tomorrow. No, Saturday. Saturday, I think it's meant to reach 18 degrees. Which would be nice for you for your early morning start here at 6 AM Saturday morning.
I think at this rate of knots, I'll be scraping the car. So let's have a look. Our Comanche. Piper PA30 twin Comanche. Doesn't look like it's coming this way. Although it's officially going to NA at 500 feet. It's kind of lined up with 07, so bit of turbo prop to come, folks. Seconds away. Suppose I better get on my marks, haven't I? Wes and Marcus just spotted you both in the chat. Good afternoon. Hope you're keeping well.
He says his friend Alan's on that Ryanair. We'll have to tell Alan to check out the channel if he's an aviation enthusiast.
Comanche time. Sorry folks, focus didn't really click in there.
Registration GASTZ on that Comanche.
I think the focus snagged on the bushes. Anyway, on this occasion, NA is Newcastle International Airport.
But where will NA be on Saturday? Tune in for our Saturday morning show to find out.
Well, we're going to have to sort of figure that out ourselves, aren't we? It's all right saying it's on a short list of 2.
There's rumours. Also, a good question there, good question from David Jordan. Is the furthest flight via Chewy from Newcastle Airport to Cancun or to Melbourne International? Of course, Melbourne being Chewy's answer to sort of Florida. Well, their Florida airport, better put. I'd imagine Cancun must be a longer, just from vague Google map browsing I've done, I'd imagine Cancun would be a longer distance. But equally, I was watching a YouTuber, I don't even know what the name of this YouTuber was, I think it's a local YouTuber from Newcastle, who did a piece on their experience at Melbourne International Airport. It looks very kind of purpose built for TUI aircraft, but I think there's some Allegiant travel going on there as well. So, you know, following this stream, if you're into your travel, which I assume you are as you're on an aviation based YouTube channel at the moment, type in Melbourne International Airport, because it seems quite interesting. I found it interesting.
Dopey Gorp's in the room.
Hello, Dopey Gorp.
Dopey Gorp. How you doing, buddy?
David Jordan says it sounded like a B-52 Stratofortress, that Piper Comanche. It did have a nice sound to it. I was going to comment, but I didn't want to talk over the sound. I wanted you to all enjoy it. I know they're on us quite fast from this perspective, but I do love it that what we see when they come over the hedge line like that. Something special.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I love it this end. I think you just get a better proximity to the planes. And when the wind's north-northeasterly, you really do get the airfield smell as well. Oops.
Big thank you to Les Donaldson on the super chat for a coffee to warm you up. Thank you so much, Les.
It's like a first aid donation. So I'm knocking the camera around. I'm getting overexcitable.
I'll describe the scene. Mark is definitely very excited. He's
agitated almost.
Yes, that's exactly the word. Thank you very much, Les.
Thank you, buddy. Another great friend of the channel. Yeah, I get excitable, but then things start moving around when they shouldn't move. You think at 57 I'd be a little bit more sort of sedate in my ways.
Thanks for all the donations so far today as well. Helps keep the show on the road, helps us bring more aviation experiences to you. As you can tell from today, with myself on mic and Mark on the mic, we're always looking at ways to try and improve the experiences for yourselves as well.
Yeah. So we're still bedding the audio in, folks, as anyone that will know at the start of the show. We've not quite got it where we want it, so, but with the equipment we've got, Eddie's got a new wireless mic, which is definitely helping our co-commentary. We just need to get the synchronization a little bit crisper. It's a bit like F1 in its own little way. Every time you change something, you end up having to change something else.
It does feel like that.
Anyway, Les, you're a gent.
I think that Piper Comanche is going to be taking a quick takeoff at some point. It's sort of, I'm not sure who's going to go first or whether they're waiting for an arrival.
No, I think he's just going to go across the runway. If I can find it. There you are. It's almost hidden in the undergrowth. That's just going to scoot across.
Definitely of interest to me there, Simon Kirby. I do love where aircrafts have been in the day previous to their appearance here at Newcastle. And the 28A321 that we're expecting has already been to Tirana and back today. Thank you, Simon.
Oh, lots of emoji action in the chat. Dopey Gorp, Ken Alloway, David Parfyman, Bislandia, Michelle Johnson. This number of revolutions will be taken off.
So awaiting departure, we have the Aer Lingus ATR 72-600, registration GCMMK.
And more emoji mayhem. Alexandra Wood and Les Donaldson. Layla Bergman. I do love a good emoji. So what am I after? Fest. Emoji fest. Spam the chat. Oh, Resident Rounds. Hello, my friends. Thank you for joining us.
So that Piper Comanche is moving at speed, Mark. I assume it might be shooting across the runway, but you never know. It's lining up. No, it's crossing the runway.
Didn't think it was going. It hasn't deposited anybody yet.
Just didn't know if it was a little brief stop.
Looks fairly full. Right, that clears the decks for this ATR 72-600 to Belfast.
See, Simon has poked the bear. Now I want to know where this aircraft's been today.
In the meantime, thank you, Alexandra Wood. Confirms Ryanair 737 in from Charnia, having departed 4 hours, 3 minutes ago.
Can't seem to access this aircraft.
Looks like the Jet 2, which I'm guessing is a return flight to Bristol, is at a fairly advanced stage of boarding, although it's not flowing at the minute.
Just jump in on this ATR 72-600 while we've got a brief pause in traffic, and so far today that's been to Newquay and Southampton. There, of course, is the Ryanair Boeing 737 inbound from Chania. Registration EIEVV. As the ATR 72-600 in its Aer Lingus livery takes the runway now. Sound being kicked up by the props. Tell you what, I might have to treat Mark to a coffee on the way home because he does look shivering there. It is quite cold. So I think we will be treating him to a coffee on the way home. For all you Mark fans out there.
First aid.
Sorry folks, there's a massive spider on you there. I'll try and take
it's better over there than here.
I'll try and take a photo of it for the... Well, you guys will probably mock me for it not being that massive, but it was crawling towards my head.
Oh, Dopey Gorp is on holiday shortly. Just too busy laughing at Eddie, who's not that keen on spiders, as you probably deduced. So, just spotted Alibi's question, Dopey Gorp, so perhaps you've answered it. Where are you off? You off anywhere?
Managed to grab a photo, Ken, but it looks far less scary in its natural habitat of the grass than it did as it was making its way up my top.
Are you taking pictures of spiders on a live stream?
I thought that's what people would want to see afterwards.
It'll be in the community post.
Yeah, it doesn't look that impressive in the grass. Although it was rather unsettling as it made its way up my hoodie.
Interesting fact from Les, that Comanche, 57 years old. Pretty much my age.
Oof.
So there you go, 1965.
He looks in better condition than you.
Well, that doesn't narrow the field down any, does it?
No, I'm just joking. Obviously, all aircraft, I'd imagine, are regularly inspected
she's
and
just
maintained.
joking. You can tell the sincerity there with the backtracking. I'd nearly forgotten this plane hadn't yet reached the pits.
So we've got an inbound. Nice metro.
Ken, give him a telescope. He's had me giving you lot whiplash, pivoting the camera for a train that we can't even see.
Resident rounds, tried to get one of the passengers to wave. Well, I don't think if they can see us, well, I suppose we can see them, but you never know. To be fair, we don't like to over zoom in on the passengers.
Well, I don't know, if they shine their phones at the window, we do that.
Yeah. Simon, it wasn't on purpose, the whole there's an inbound and then it's a metro. I'm just having a bit, I'm worried about this spider, if I'm honest with you.
Dopey Gorp, if you get the weather, mate, you'll be laughing. See if there's anything moving here.
The scene is set for a spectacular finale. We've got Ryanair's on deck, we've got easyJet well advanced in its boarding processes, Loganair, which I'm sure will make a sharp turnaround. KLM's pinging and I can now see its tail on the move.
Just want to say goodbye to Danny from Planecaster. Thanks for joining us, mate, and catch you soon. Take care, buddy.
Thanks, Danny. We've got that KLM Embraer just peeking out from the other side of the terminal now.
Yeah, thanks, Alexandra.
In its vivid blue livery.
Smiley Dolphin out for a swim.
Affectionately known as the Smiley Dolphin. Winglets. Sweatback. Is that the name?
Can't tell from here. Initially I just thought they were sharklets.
Sharklets.
But they do look sweatback, yeah.
Ken asks, was it a spider from Mars? For the David Bowie fans.
He's luring you towards singing a song.
No, I said it because I thought it'd lure you to sing it.
Well, no, but I'm just going to turn it back.
I don't know that one.
How convenient. You can kind of imagine the scene, folks, this morning. One of the things we've been up to is assembling wardrobes, flat pack wardrobes, down at Eddie's place. Proper teamwork in action. Only 1/3 complete.
Less said about that, the better.
It's a triple, to be fair.
So landing lights now on for this Royal Dutch Airlines Embraer as it takes the centre line. Brief pause. What I'd give to be on that flight deck right now. It must be an absolute adrenaline buzz, what these guys and girls do on a daily basis. The heat haze kicking off on this rather chilly afternoon in the northeast. Heat haze very much appreciated by Mark and myself. We're getting a bit of the heat off the KLM.
Yeah, we're like sort of round the brazier, like a fire pit.
If you could hold for a few more minutes, we'd appreciate that.
Ken Alloway, the thing is, Eddie's got a GoPro camera We probably should have filmed ourselves and then put a little short together for you. Probably set to some kind of Chuckle Brother kind of music.
Here we go. Ken speculates we're more like Laurel and Hardy than the Chuckle Brothers.
Ken, as always, mate, you're just too kind.
Just enjoying watching that KLM disappear into the grey sky we have, almost cocooning us here this afternoon.
The thing was with the wardrobes, Eddie's got to explain his lack of progress on that when he gets back from this stream. So I had to bug out fairly early because I got a dental appointment and I was getting my hair cut. So we kind of decided to park it up, didn't we, Eddie?
Yeah, I'll have to explain that tonight, but one thing at a time.
Alexander Wood confirms we've got an easyJet from Belfast, 7 minutes out. So let's just get a sense of what that means on the map. Okay, got it. Crikey, only 24 minutes ago it departed. Take us slightly longer than that to get home from here.
Did we ever get to the bottom of the bus livery, the blue?
No, we didn't.
I missed that one. But to be fair,
Didn't really offer us a view.
To be fair, we're a plane spotting channel as opposed to bus spotting.
No, we'd have done it if it had offered a side to us.
Yeah, but we probably missed it in the little
in the excitement
onslaught of action that we had there.
Onslaught. So, quick shout to our mods. What's the light count at the minute? Mine's frozen at its customary low score, although it's a new record. 38 I'm frozen at. Alexander Wood confirms our Titan Airways A321 operated for Chewy, or by Chewy. 7 minutes out. Casper the Ghost.
I'm excited for this one. A321 Neo as well.
We'll keep a bit of a watch on that.
Be a nice addition to the aircraft we've already seen this afternoon. 117 likes informs us.
117, excellent. So we've got a shot at 150.
Well, it's 118 now, so we're on the way.
Cheers, Alibi. Cheers, Ken. Yep.
Yeah, I noticed what Simon Kirby's talking about there a lot. We've discussed it on our last trip to. Hang on. Break away.
Our friend Easton, Jetstream 41. Kind of ghosted on us.
Lovely landing there.
Is that an incomer from Aberdeen?
Yeah, so just saying, when we were last in London Heathrow, we noticed that a lot of the ITA or the ITA airlines and SAS airlines lease a lot of their aircraft. Yeah, we found that quite interesting when we were plane spotting down last time in London Heathrow. Hello, Sue Major, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Hello Sue, welcome back. How you doing? Hope Thursday's been kind to you. Friday here, weekend in view. Anyway, welcome to a pretty parky Newcastle International Airport.
It's not quite the summer vibes I was expecting when I signed up to this mission.
I might have led Eddie to believe it might have been a bit of a better weather forecast. Should always check though. So, easyJet our next incomer. Out of the bush will emerge our Eastern Airways Jetstream. Just about nosing out now. There you go. But I've got to divert the camera away imminently to our incoming Belfast easyJet A320.
Yeah, and I know earlier in the chat I was impressed with some of the photographs associated with aircraft
Let's do it now.
On flight radar, and certainly this inbound Airbus A320 registration GEZTB also has quite a peculiar / interesting photo associated with the aircraft. I can't quite tell what's in the background there, but stunning nonetheless, to this plane spotter's eyes at least. And if flight radar is correct, it's currently at 950 feet, 850 now, 126 knots, arrival imminent.
Just about to deploy the camera whilst jogging on the spot. We're doing star jumps next.
This aircraft having been in Alicante before Belfast. And it's also been in Birmingham earlier today. For those who, like myself, like a bit of background on where the plane's been so far in today's flight program. Stretching for a word there.
Well, there's me, all dressed up. And no easyJet.
Hot on its tails is that. I'll be quiet. So hot on its tails will be the Titan Airways Airbus A321, which is operating the flight on behalf of, or Chewy Airlines operating the flight with that Titan Airways aircraft. Previously been in Tirana earlier today before stopping in Gatwick, and then of course will be arriving with us in around 60 seconds time.
What I think on, folks, well, executive lounge members.
Just saying, we might get a shot of the bus livery. It's on.
It looks like some eco livery, doesn't it? Net zero carbon 2035.
Excellent.
Newcastle International.
Nice to see. What were you saying about the executive lounge?
I'll do that in a minute. We might have time. So the latest wallpapers, for those of you who like your electronic wallpapers for your electronic devices, phones, that's going to be published tonight. So as soon as I get in, I'll put a post out, give you the details how to download it.
Wallpaper alert.
Yeah, it's the Volotea Airbus A319 that we pictured a few weeks back.
Exactly that. I thought I've got it on my own personal laptop currently. It gives off a brilliant summer vibe, I feel.
It's a beauty.
It is a real beauty. And for those who enjoy their mobile phone wallpapers, we've also got one. I think the aircraft on that is the Emirates 777 and a Chewy Boeing 737. Inspiration again, very much trying to capture summer vibes for your mobile phone.
Welcome back, Ewan. To see the re-entry into the chat, mate. David Jordan says a Piper PA-31 could be landing here. We'll keep our eye out, David.
It says on flight radar from Southend to destination unknown.
Sue Major says Thursday has been very kind, so that's excellent. Sets you fair for the weekend, hopefully. Ooh, let's get with the beat. This is one of those moments where I kind of half expect Simon Kirby to deploy his special livery emoji.
Oh yeah, special livery could be deployed. We'll see if the chat agrees.
That would be very special. I think we need a Casper type emoji for moments like this.
Here comes the Piper. Inbound. I'm thinking.
Eddie's deployed, mate.
Yeah, it's inbound.
Well, hang on a minute.
It's a way out, yeah, it's a way out. I got a bit too excited.
Too much excitement, trackside.
We've got easyJets doing synchronised taxiing on the tarmac as well, so probably leave it with that in a minute.
Well, this is the returning Bristol flight. Belfast flight, if I come back out a little bit, the photo bomb the shot.
Synchronised taxiing.
So we're building quite nicely towards show crescendo, which will be the SunExpress arrival. I think that's the 737. I think Les Donaldson said 6:10 for that. David Jordan says 21 minutes. Ooh. Chance to get those emojis twirling. So as always, folks, that gentle encouragement towards hit the like button if you like what you see, and if you're not yet subscribed with Plain Sailing Aviation, we'd love to have you with us. Neither cost you anything. For folks who are interested in supporting the channel in a more elevated way, we do have a membership offer. You just have to click on that little $sign below the chat. It doesn't obligate you, but it does explain what's available. Right, I think I'm just going to peel to this Bristol bound A320.
Nice bit of heat again reaching us from this aircraft, so very much appreciate it.
really is. Epic Gamer, I've just spotted your entry into the chat. Welcome to Plain Sailing Aviation.
So just on that Titan Airways, or that TUI operated Titan Airways, if you booked a flight with TUI, and I know obviously for most passengers it's probably not even a consideration, but if you booked a flight with TUI as an av geek, are you more or less excited that you've got an unmarked Airbus A321? Thoughts on that, Mark?
I would say less.
Less excited?
Yeah, I like liveries.
I mean, on the one hand, you're going to be excited because it's something different.
Because it's got no paint on it.
No, because it's something different. It's something unusual. I don't know about you, but as a plane spotter, I like the unusual. But then equally, you know, certainly based on my travel habits, you know, I might, if I'm lucky, go on holiday maybe once. If I'm lucky, once a year. And if I book with TUI, do I want that kind of, that shiny TUI livery? I mean, like I say, for most of the holiday makers, I doubt it's even a consideration. Just purely from an av geek perspective, what would I like?
Oh, I'm just looking at Ken Alloway with, I'm squinting, Ken, because you know I'm short-sighted. The emojis you posted, are they Casper type ghost livery emojis or something else? I'm with Simon, spookyairlines.com.
I was trying to think, because I think TUI have some special liveries themselves, don't they? I think they have a TUI blue one, as in their hotel chain called TUI Blue. I think there is a TUI Blue. What else have I seen? I think I've seen one abroad, but I think it was part of their TUI Belgium fleet.
I've seen the Robinsons one.
Robinsons.
Usually that turns up when I've packed my kit away. Not seen it here for a while, to be fair. Oh my lordy-do! Michelle Johnson! I'm shouting. I'm getting excited when we go. Michelle, thank you so much. Very generous super chats. We've been so well supported by you all today. It's just, well, mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Michelle.
you.
Yeah, I just want to echo what Mark said. Thank you very much for that very kind contribution to keeping the channel running and bringing you all as much aviation as we possibly can.
Well, listen, Michelle, thank you. You know, every penny we take, we put to work. So thank you so much. And Ken confirming, yes, ghost emojis. Saves me getting the magnifying glass on them when I get home.
You know, that's it. Josh Scott's just jumped in with a quality comment. It's the Haribo TUI I was thinking of. A few years back, I went on holiday from Manchester Airport, as it happens, to La Palma in the Canary Islands. Where's this leading? No, it couldn't have been. No. Correction. I went to Sardinia. No, I'm going to correct you again. I've never been to Sardinia.
He's been on a tour. It's like Alan Wicker.
I've never been to Sardinia. It was Sicily. Apologies to Sardinians and Sicilians. I went to Sicily. And in Sicily, there was a Chewy Germany aircraft in the Haribo livery. That's exactly the one I was thinking of. And I remember thinking, would I want to be on that aircraft or not? I know it's an aircraft, but I'm a bit funny with my liveries. I like liveries. And I was thinking, would that enhance my experience or detract from it? Probably the answer is neither, but thank you for that. That was exactly what I was wrestling for, Josh. The Haribo TUI livery on the German TUI. Thank you.
Well, back on planet Earth, Alexander Wood tells us that SunExpress is 9 minutes out. Our finale plane.
I'm excited for this SunExpress, but I just want to emphasise I do like my Chewy liveries. I do enjoy them.
You should have said sooner.
I do like my Chewies. I mean, we're all informed, I think, by our sort of childhood first experiences with plane spotting or whenever we get into it, and it would make my day if Chewy brought back a Britannia livery. I know I've said it earlier on the stream, but I want a Britannia livery.
Let's talk about really important stuff. I've just spotted the chat between Les Donaldson and Alibi 58 about a fish supper. £10 at Les's local chippy.
Okay.
Alibi, I think I saw £13.50.
Oof.
That's got to be a la carte.
The fish and chip suppers these days.
13 quid.
13 quid. I mean, they are very satisfying, but I think the prices are going through the roof on some of these fish and chip dinners.
I suppose some of it's going to be linked to the cost, theoretical, of cooking them.
The energy, yeah.
Energy cost.
No, it's understandable.
But
as a consumer, on the consumer level, it's not good for the pockets.
oh, got lots of people. Ryanair have got this all ready for a rapid board. People queuing out on the tarmac, waiting for the starting pistol.
So you've got.
So folks, last 10 minutes of the show. SunExpress 9 minutes out. Next show from us, Saturday, double show, 1 in the morning, 6 till 9, and then off, well, that's Newcastle, and then off to destination unknown, because we haven't quite settled it yet, for the afternoon, 2 o'clock till 5:30.
Destination unknown.
You've got to break the tune out. In the meantime, Ryanair have a Alicante departure pushing back, so we'll track there.
Registration on this Boeing 737 is EIEMR for those who are interested in aircraft registrations. And I'm just having a look at recent flights. It's been, wow, it's been to Dublin today, it's been to Barcelona. Has it been anywhere else, I ask? Looking for a bit more info. It's been to Barcelona, Dublin. It's actually been in Newcastle. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? This started the day in Newcastle and it departed to Barcelona at 7:30 this morning. Thoughts on that, Mark?
None whatsoever. I was looking over the horizon. Sorry, Eddie.
Actually, this aircraft seems to be in Newcastle quite a lot, so I wonder whether we will see it back tonight from Alicante. Just gonna have a scroll through. Yes, this aircraft will actually finish its day's work here at Newcastle Airport. Having flown to Alicante, had a quick turnaround and imagine I'll be back here for a good night's kip before.
I just want to pitch in, sorry, I've caught sight of Ken's message. Simon Kirby, Roy Cropper, yep, friendly vibes, guys. Friendly vibes. Just wanted to go in behind Ken on that. And I know Alibi's also had to say a bit earlier on, this is a friendly channel, all ends up.
I'd love to say it's fun in the sun, but it's often cloudy.
You would you?
Yeah, but it's often cloudy. Maybe we need to go to Alicante.
Yeah, definitely in for a bit of that.
Talking of sun, 2 minutes out, the SunExpress informs us Alexandra Wood. Thank you, Alexandra.
Alexandra, spot on. That's a train. However, it is incontrovertible that SunExpress 737 is 737-800 actually. Having departed 4 hours 13 minutes ago, is just lining up for finals. Flight radar says 1 minute out. I think you can usually say +2. Let's call it 3 minutes for cash.
Another blast of aviation fuel hitting us from the Ryanair 737, which is currently idling on the tarmac.
Andrew NUFC. Hello buddy, good evening. Hope you've had a good day.
I bet Andrew and UFC will be on a few foreign trips next year with the Champions League.
Are you going, Andrew?
Bit of Champions League travel assured.
Mind you, in that first phase, if you qualify fourth, you have to go...
Did they not get third in the end? I thought they were third.
Oh, are they definitely third? Oh, they got third, did they? Oh, in which case, they don't have to go to all the places in July that you'd rather not go to. Kind of disrupts the pre-season, doesn't it? Ah, third, you nailed on.
Champions League passport coming out, says Andrew and UFC.
Andrew, I've fallen out of love with football for a few weeks. I really have.
I'm very envious of you guys and the Toon fans touring Europe next year. Hope you get a fortunate draw, both in the sense of who you're up against, but also it's a chance to travel around Europe, so I hope you get some iconic fixtures. I know, incidentally, Seville will be in the Champions League again next year after the Europa League victory last night. Seville, if you get the chance to go there, amazing city as well.
So we'll stay with the Alicante-bound Ryanair as we await SunExpress, which is on finals.
Thank you for joining us today, Visselandia. It's been brilliant having you in the chat. Hope to see you soon.
Visselandia, always a pleasure. Hope to catch up with you at some stage over the weekend. Do take care. Andrew NUFC, we'll probably get Frank Lampard or sign Dean Smith on a 5-year contract.
We've also got the Loganair pushing back, tail to the west. In the background of the shot that you have right now.
So SunExpress bearing down at a rate of knots now. I'll just move the camera in a second, save it till the last minute.
You caught one of the SunExpress's water cannon salutes back in Edinburgh last year, didn't you?
That's right. I think that's the first one I've seen.
Nice bit of smoke kicked up on landing there. Always love that from an aviation enthusiast perspective.
And that little bit of a blast afterwards. Remind you're at the airport.
Good evening, Nell W. Nice to see you.
Joined
us at a good moment. We've just seen the SunExpress Boeing 737 making its touchdown, and we've just got now a Ryanair Boeing 737 making its departure to Alicante International Airport.
Nell, I hope you've had a good day. Right, just couldn't decide whether to move the camera or not. So here's the Alicante departure. So yeah, Nell, thank you for joining us. Full house of mods. The unbeatable mod team.
Thank you as well to UK Heroes for joining us this afternoon. Really enjoyed having you in the chat. Looking forward to catching you next time out.
UK, take care, my friend. Thank you so much for your kind support. I'll tell you what I'm tittering about in a minute.
Lovely blast from that Boeing 737.
Alibi 58 has very kindly proposed Philip Schofield as a possible candidate for Leicester City. He's available.
And away goes that Boeing 737 into the slightly, if not very overcast sky that we're experiencing here in the northeast today. Hopefully the passengers will have better climate there in Alicante, although I've seen there's been a bit of flooding recently in Spain. Heavy rain in Benidorm, Madrid as well been hit. So hopefully climate will be nice for them when they arrive for their holidays.
Quick goodbye to RCC. It's been fantastic to be in your company, RCC. So thank you so much for joining us. Jonathan Young, good evening to you, Jonathan. How goes it? Nell's had a busy day at work. Happy to be here. We're even happier, Nell. Remember, the weekend's just about there. You can't quite touch it, but you can see it real close. I think we could do with some of that blue sky here, Nell, that you're talking about. So, the Loganair that's in front of me, do we know where that's going?
I'll have a quick look.
You'll probably have to get it off the departure board. I'm just going to track with the SunExpress in the meantime.
Flight radar has just been a little bit slow for me currently. Let's have a look. Departures. It's a nice livery, that SunExpress.
I like it.
It's almost simple and eye-catching at the same time, which I think is what you really want.
I'll tell you what I don't like, thinking of Turkish carriers, Pegasus.
Pegasus livery.
The Flying Pigs.
Are they not the... Is that not the yellow lower fuselage? Are they... No?
I don't think so. I have to put it on the screen to... All I know is when I see them, I don't care for them.
Well, back to this Loganair that we've got in front of us. That should be heading off to Southampton. An Embraer 145, registration GSAJO.
Our incoming Ryanair flight from Malaga, I think.
Exactly right, Mark. Arriving.
I was trying to catch up with the chat, so sorry, Alexandra, if I've missed your signposting for that one.
Arriving from Malaga, registration EIHAY. EHAY.
As soon as it vacates, this Loganair departure will depart. Oh dear, all I can think about is fish and chips. There's Donaldson, Alibi 58, entirely your fault.
Quite hungry myself now, actually. G Sajo.
Sajo, eh?
Off to Southampton.
Southampton, thank you, Eddie. A little bit premature. The Ryanair plane's only just turning off.
Just while we wait for a bit of action, that Ryanair Boeing 737, of course, joining us from Malaga International Airport, but prior to that had been in Tetuan, and prior to that had been in Leeds Bradford Airport.
just seen in the chats, Alibi says 13 more likes to 150. Michelle's thrown in her support with that too. Can we get to 150?
That'd be really awesome if we could.
Don't worry about it, folks, if we can't. But if you are in the show, be it in the chat or the Lurkers Lounge, and you've yet to hit the like button or subscribe even, neither cost you anything, and it'd be a fantastic finale for the show. But to be fair, it's been a fantastic show, so c'est la vie, I think the saying is. You've been fantastic.
Just want to jump in. Dandy Chickens, like your YouTube.
Oh, welcome back. Dandy Chickens I met on the last show. Fantastic handle.
Yeah. So he's in Gulfport, Mississippi. First of all, like your YouTube name. Second of all, thank you for joining us.
Dandy, we're at the back end of the show, my friend, but we are back on air Saturday morning from Newcastle again, 6 till 9 o'clock in the morning, UK time of course, and 2:30 through till 5:30, 2 o'clock till 5:30, tell them cold. We are off to a mystery destination to be revealed during the morning show.
Destination unknown.
Nell W, I suffer the same fate with Pegasus. It's flying pigs for me all day, every day. Right, shall we have a quick look, see what's the prognosis for action? Is there anything likely to go in the next 5 minutes or come in?
Let's have a quick look.
I think we pretty much...
I think for arrivals we're pretty dry, and departures, nothing looks imminent, so it probably looks like a nice point to shut it down for the day.
There's a helicopter that's probably coming in.
Yeah, in reality it's pretty sparse for the next hour, intermittent, so it seems like a good place to park it and recharge batteries, refuel, and get ready for our Saturday shows, plural. Although that said, a Ryanair has now just pushed back, so I don't know.
Oh, we'll have this. This will be the final plane of the show, folks. Alibi, and in fact, all of the moderators, there is no need to set your alarms on Saturday because Eddie is going to be setting his.
Eddie on the case. If you'd like to join me, you can do, but I will not judge you if it is a little bit early.
Listen, Eddie, it's your chance to shine.
Eddie in the hot seat. Take it easy on me, guys, on the chat. I'm nowhere near as competent as our mods.
So this one's off to Krakow. Checking the time on that one.
I hope it's not going to be one of those ones where they push back and sit there for 10 minutes.
We had one of those on the last show.
Yeah.
It was a KLM 737, and as soon as I switched the stream off, it started moving.
Well, the tug has disconnected, and we can see one of the ground crew, I assume, unplugging the cables that you often see connected.
Just quick goodbye to DB Bassman. DB, thank you again so much for your kind and generous support. See you Saturday, and no, don't worry about 6 o'clock. We went with the early show because we're very mindful that we've got viewers in different time zones, so we just thought we'd mix it up a little bit.
Question from Michelle, what's the Titan up to? Well, I believe, although I don't have complete visual confirmation, that it's on stand and would anticipate it to be departing under the Chewy umbrella at some point. I'm not sure if that'll be today or if that'll be an early morning departure tomorrow.
Just seen Dopey Gorp's exit. Dopey Gorp, been great to catch up, mate. Look forward to seeing you soon. Take care, pal.
Colin Lee's Hearts, good morning to you.
Oh, hello Colin Lees, how you doing, mate? We are literally on the final plane of the show, this one bound for Krakow. But great to catch up, buddy. We are back on air Saturday if you're about. Watch this space, a couple of shows on Saturday.
One from Newcastle, one from Destination Unknown. Look out for the thumbnail on that one.
Yeah, so we'll put the regular one out for the early bird show, and during that we will announce where we're going later in the day. Probably be arguing about who's driving.
To be announced.
Rock, paper, scissors.
I think I can see the Eastern Airways seems to have peaked its nose out.
We might have two final planes of the show. Ever vigilant Eddie.
So this aircraft off to, remind me again, Mark, where's this Ryanair 737 going to?
Krakow.
Krakow.
Oh, we're moving.
It looks good to go as well. Landing lights already on and shining directly into our eyes from our vantage point here at Newcastle. As the pilot increasing the thrust to get a nice injection of noise from those two engines on the Boeing 737.
David Kaufman and Layla Bergman have got their turboprop emerges twirling away, ready for Easterns and their imminent approach.
Thank you for joining us today, Digit Jumbo. Good luck with your day of work.
Digit Jumbo, awesome mate. Thank you so much for your support and your super chats. Look forward to catching up again soon.
Good evening.
Mel, Digit Jumbos from your part of the world, Antwerp. Boris.
Good evening as well, Gordon Train. Thank you very much for your kind comments there, and thank you for joining us.
Gordon Train, hello my friend. Just caught the last few minutes of the show, but as we were just saying, we'll be back on air Saturday. We'll put it all in a community post, so as long as you've hit the notification bell, you should see it.
As the Ryanair Boeing 737 takes the centre line before its departure to Krakow. A nice bit of heat warming up Mark's hands from that aircraft.
Probably blow me head over heels.
Yep.
Like a piece of paper. Oh, check the shell out. Full revolutions.
Props are twirling in the chat in anticipation for our eastern departure to Aberdeen, which should follow shortly after this Ryanair Boeing 737. As we watch the Ryanair Boeing 737 at the far end of the runway gracefully glide up into the sky, I just want to say thank you very much to Colin Lee's Hearts for his kind donation. It certainly does all count, my friends, and I know as soon as Mark gets off the camera he'll be touched as well. All goes into the channel and helps us bring you more aviation experiences.
Colin, I'm going to say fantastic mate. You're a great friend of the channel, above and beyond. You've only just joined us for the show. Thank you, my friend. Awesome support. Genuinely touched, mate. Thank you, Eddie, for letting me know on that one. I didn't want to miss that.
Yeah, as well, guys, on my own personal device I've just lost battery, so if you are talking to me directly, I won't be able to see at this point for the last 2 or 3 minutes of the show. We're relying very much on Mark's tablet now.
We're all on tablet power.
So apologies again for those in the chat if I'm a bit less responsive to the chat in the closing minutes of the show as we watch.
Got my phone?
No worries, it's just a couple of minutes. Oh, looks like it might be extended though. We've got an easyJet pushing back as well in the background. It's all done. Mark is luring me to his phone. I'll get back in the chat.
He's back in the game, folks.
If I can work it.
Layla Bergman, I've just spotted your exit. Thank you so much for your support today. Absolutely fantastic to be in your company. Yep, definitely see you Saturday. The weather forecast looks pretty reasonable too.
Yeah, I'm back in the chat, guys, thanks to Mark and his mobile phone. So I can be responsive again.
So it looks like we'll take the easyJet.
Got a Jet 2 pushing back on the far side as well.
Jet 2?
So we'll go. Live where anything can happen. Lucas Gallant, good evening to you, and thank you for joining us in the closing section of our stream today. We of course
Lucas, hello my friend.
We of course will be back on Saturday morning. If you like what you see, please consider liking, subscribing.
You've been an awesome crowd, no question. We're lucky with this channel, with our friends, no question.
It's definitely a nice, warm and welcoming aviation community that frequent us here on our live streams. As we watch the Eastern Airways soaring into the sky, which seems to be brightening up a little bit. Sorry.
Right, let's take a quick stock of what's happening. So, it looks like we've got 2 planes to finish on.
Got that easyJet.
This one? Is that the Belfast plane?
To be fair,
That'd be a yes, I think.
I think it is.
And a Jet 2 nudging out over the far side.
Jet 2 in silver and red livery, I assume being pushed back with a tug.
Michelle, no, not Dash 8, that was a British Aerospace Jetstream 41. Oh, Ken sets us a challenge, 150 by close. We've got 2 planes to do it in.
2 aircraft.
Yeah, and they're both in the same shot.
If anyone's sitting on the fence, this could be your moment. Landing lights already on for the easyJet. You can expect a swift departure.
Alexandra Wood confirms Belfast, definitely for the easyJet. And the Jet 2 is off to Palma, off to sunny Mallorca.
Palma de Mallorca. There'll be a lot of excited travellers on board that Jet 2. Probably already planning an evening of fun, fine dining and beverages, I hope.
Oh, Michelle, checking out your emoji. My emoji range has got not the half of the emojis you good people have got. When I put community posts out, I always think, crikey, everyone seems to have better emojis.
I like Ken's comment. He says, plain sailing aviation, the home of 2 more planes. Like that, Ken.
Ken, it's better than the other home of one more very delayed plane, although that was quite apt, wasn't it? No, we'll take these two, then we'll finish.
Puff of
I'm
smoke.
famished. Anyone that's not eaten yet must be famished too.
Puff of smoke just coming out of the Jet 2 Boeing 737 engines, as I'd imagine they're just starting up now in anticipation of the tug disconnecting. Another waft of aviation fuel hitting us here from our vantage point. Again, just a reminder for those joining us, we're in the closing stages of today's live stream. We'll be back again on Saturday, early start, 6 a.m. in the morning here from Newcastle, before onwards to destination unknown for an afternoon stream.
Ooh, just spotted something interesting in the chat. Well, it's always interesting, but you know what I mean. Ian Nicholson, welcome to Plain Sailing Aviation. We are in the last, very, very last phase of the show, but we are delighted. That's me, Mark, talking, Eddie on co-commentary, to meet you. You're a new subscriber and you've liked as well. Awesome, mate.
Good stuff, Ian.
BQ. Hello, BQ. I don't think I've said hello, have I? Hope you're keeping well.
Nice to see you as well, BQ. All the lights are on this easyJet. Wingtip lights twinkling.
Really doesn't feel like the 1st of June, does it?
No, it feels quite
autumnal, I suppose.
yeah, almost does. I was going to say in this sort of dusky twilight, I was going to say it's twinkling in the twilight, but technically a few hours to go before sunset here in northeast of England. Let's listen to those engines. It goes up into the northeastern sky for a quick hop over to Belfast.
Is the final plane of the show going to start rolling?
So we've got our
Tell you what, you can spot for me, Eddie. I can do the show close, cut to the plane.
Sounds like a plan.
Colin Lees is speculating that we might be in Edinburgh on Saturday. Colin can neither confirm nor deny. Although, as I was saying earlier on, oh, we're moving. Good stuff. Weather and movements are in the mix.
151 likes, says Alibi and Ken.
Thank you, Alibi and Ken. And thank you to everybody, each and every one of you, who've hit that like button. Awesome support.
154, says Alibi.
I tell you what, we're suddenly on the move. Listen, you're a great group of people. If we'd finished at 145, 125, 105.
Just want to say, just want to say as well, Les Donaldson says this is the final. Well, unless that Eurofighter that we were talking about earlier on in the channel appears over the hedge line, this will be today's final aircraft.
I'm going to be really honest, even if that was true, I'm really at the point where I'm perished. If someone said there's a Vulcan, Avro Vulcan, 10 minutes out, I'd stay for that, to be fair.
All the lights on this Jet 2 Boeing 737 with its wetback winglets emblazoned with the Jet2 logo.
Ken's comment about Saturday could be a magical mystery tour with us navigating. Who knows?
Could be.
Folks, this is the last plane of the show. Unless there's anything on finals, they have to be pretty short finals.
Kickback from that Boeing 737
yeah, just wobbled me a bit on the camera.
hits us here in our perspective. We watch the grey Jet 737 head into the even greyer sky. Just like to say to Alibi, we will not, I will rule out this, we will not be going to the Loch Ness.
Is he asked that in the chat?
Yes. I just want to make that on clear. It is destination unknown, but I can count out the Loch Ness.
Right, I'm just going to close the show down in my orderly fashion. Alibi, you crease me, man. You crease me. No, we'll not be doing that. I don't think the petrol budget will run us that far, to be honest. Well, what's my tablet gone to sleep? Just checking if there's anything else I need to respond to directly. So yes, we've covered Ken chiming us as the magical mystery tour. Alexandra Wood, definitely not in a yellow submarine. Definitely not. And as just discussed, there'll be no mystery streams from far-flung locations, and we're definitely not going to Loch Ness. Colin Lee, see you Saturday. Take care, my friend. Oh, we are. You're trying to get me to belt one out, aren't you? Penny Lane. Oh dear. David Palfyman, thank you for your kind support. So, let's just wrap this up in the right way. So first and foremost, thank you to our great moderators. Alibi58, Ken Alloway, Alexandra Wood, Nell W, Dopey Gorp. No channel works well without its moderator team, and it creates the vibe. The vibe is the mods. So thank you, one and all. Also, as you'd expect, because it makes a difference to what we do as a channel, a big shout out and thank you from Eddie and I to Doris Petsus, DB Bassman, Digit Jumbo, David Palfyman, Ken Alloway, Les Donaldson. It's a long list, this, isn't it? Buzzing. Michelle Johnson and Colin Lee's Hearts. All of you putting money into the channel, and we'll put it to work for you. Next show, as discussed, obviously Saturday, here at Newcastle for the early risers, 6 till 9. For those of you who prefer to catch us later, we've got our magical mystery tour, Destination Unknown. And when we've figured it out, we'll be announcing it during Saturday morning show. So if you're with us then, you'll hear it. But other than that, the thumbnail, excuse me, will be out by 9 o'clock Saturday morning. So thank you one and all. Eddie, do you want to say out before we go?
Yeah, just thank you to everyone who's joined us today. At all points in the stream, it's been nice and pleasant aviation chat. Really enjoyed it, and hope to see you all again soon.
Alexandra Woods speculating. I don't think we could get to Sandown Airport, Alexandra. Anyway, one and all, you're ace. So thank you so much. can't wait to catch up with you soon. Oh, and here's my new haircut. That's the note to finish on.